skip it today.
Hello and welcome to DCP Live episode number 305 special edition today because we have...
You know why it is?
Why?
Briar's not wearing a black shirt.
Oh, welcome to the No Black Shirt Briar edition. Laundry day. Yeah, is that like a workout shirt you're wearing, Briar?
Yeah, it's like one of them wick away.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like a workout
So
shirt. Very nice.
it's
stylish.
No sweat Briar today.
That's biking
right.
Briar right there.
I got a little bit of a funk to me, I'll be honest.
I didn't hit the wash yet for that.
I got a little rash from my deodorant. I've been using this, I think it's called like Handsome Jack deodorant.
Oh.
And it gave me a little rash, so I can't wear deodorant right now.
No joke. Oh. I'm pretty sure that same deodorant gave me a rash, and I immediately threw it out.
Yeah, I threw it away. Yeah.
Really?
For the true pirate experience, probably.
I smell like a pirate.
An hour later, I was like, why is my armpit on fire? And then I took a whiff, and it was like horrible. And I was like, this deodorant is killing me. I have to throw it away.
Eating your skin.
I was in the river playing Frisbee with a couple of friends, and one of them said, "What is with your armpits?" It was like bright red. Not a phrase you hear every day, and it's concerning when you do. What is up with your armpit?
That's true.
Sorry, Tefty, I derailed your intro.
Yeah, I was going to welcome Lego to the show. Then we're talking about Briar's shirt.
Look.
How are your armpits?
What deodorant do you use?
I think we're good.
Aluminum free? Is it aluminum free? We got it going.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, thanks guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. It means so much to be here. I know what a big deal it is to come on the show, and I just really appreciate you guys inviting me on.
Well, thanks for joining us. Wow,
thanks for coming.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So
sure. So I am someone who's kind of been all over the Destiny community. Did podcast hosting for a while with the RezoCast podcast. So that was like a 1.5 year kind of deal. Then went from there to kind of, I guess, throughout all of Destiny, become the fusion rifle guy is what I think a lot of people know me as. But as of recently, the Glaive guy once Glaives got introduced and I learned how to Glaive fly in the game for a little bit till they took it out, which was really fun. And then lots of movie of the weeks. I am kind of a camera guy, so I think I have the most movie of the weeks out of anyone in the community. I could be wrong. I know some other people are 5 or 6, but I'm at 7 right now. I'm the Bungie number, so I don't think I can win anymore.
You have to stop. Yeah, you have to leave it at that. You got 7 on there. Yeah.
Hey, your DMs are blowing up right now. Those little rats asking to be added to like the movie of the week.
Can I get in? Can I get in?
So how much to be added to the credits?
Yes, I've been there with those DMs, but I've actually used all of that to kind of transfer over into making YouTube guides for Destiny. I know I'm like really late in the game for getting into it. And I think partially of that is from y'all talking about being Destiny content creators. I know Briar and Tefty, I've listened to y'all give speeches about kind of like doing what you love to do as like work, and what that looks like. And I waited a really long time to do it because I was like, I don't know if I really want to get into this because I love playing Destiny so much, but it's been years. I was doing podcasts about it. I can't talk about it weekly anymore. So it's like, I have these editing skills. Let me just start making some content. And so I started that 2.5 months ago, just weekly videos, and I've already like 400 times the growth of what I was. So it's been a really cool.
That's really good.
That's great. Yeah.
I'm glad you're not on that podcast anymore. What a den of thieves that was, huh? Wow.
I know. I shouldn't have said the name. I forgot it was the podcast we don't speak of.
Just some real dirt bags over there.
What type of content are you posting weekly on YouTube?
Yeah, so I do a lot of weapon breakdowns. I mean, obviously, since I'm the fusion guy, I kind of like have deep dived into that because a lot of people look at fusion rifles and be like, it's a fusion rifle. It's air intel. You charge it, you shoot it, you can map people. But they're super complicated when you get into the individual archetypes and the different perks and what they actually do. Should I get charge time? Should I not? So I kind of answer a lot of those questions. But also, I really try to make builds that are super fun to play that are also I've kind of coined it as I make cinematic Destiny 2 guides. Like I make it the Crucible really fun to watch and want to play, and then I show you how to do it.
Nice. I love it.
That's a big task. Make the Crucible fun to play.
But you know, with that, I've had people who have stopped playing the game or don't play Destiny yet, and they come in and they're like, "I watch every one of your intros just because it's so fun. Like this, you make the game look so fun. It makes me want to jump back into Destiny." And so, if I keep getting comments like that, you know, I'm going to keep pushing and keep making content. So it's been a really fun time for sure. I'm enjoying it.
Intros are awesome. I had a quick look this morning. They're really cool, and like obviously you're doing extremely well with your channel for like only a couple months. Like that's really good. That's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been super fun, and it's been fun like getting to know the community. I've always been somebody who would answer questions on Twitter, but to answer them like on a YouTube channel. I've been on Destiny Massive Breakdowns quite a few times the past few months, just diving further into weapons. So that's been fun too.
Cool. So
you inspired me today. I opened up the Massive Breakdown Excel spreadsheet.
Yes.
Because I was like, okay, like it's been 8 years. Let me just see if I can understand it's time to kill weapon packs. What I should be looking at.
Who's curating that now? Because that used to be Mercules, right?
Yeah, so Kit Kutcha, who was his co-host on that show, I think has always been involved with the spreadsheet, so he's just continuing on. It's a ton of work for him to do, so bravo seriously for him continuing the show, not only by himself, but the spreadsheet. And there's a community that's involved in making that content, but he carries a lot of that weight on his own. It's very impressive.
That stuff's crazy. Do you get that data from the API, or do you have to go test it?
You have to test almost every single thing, and there's a whole community of people that do that frame by frame, and it matters what frames per second you're playing the game at, you know, that the frames and the bolts connect or the bullets connect. It's pretty wild.
That's deep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it.
So
thank you, V-Service.
So as someone who looks fondly upon fusion rifles myself, what would you recommend today in season 18 as like the best? Okay, also, I'm more of a proactive fusion rifle user. You know, I will seek out my kill with the fusion rifle. I won't react to being hunted with the fusion rifle. Okay, so
that's good.
Lay that framework in there. What would you say is the best fusion rifle to acquire in season 18 right now that's available?
I like the way you framed it, because that was going to be my question, is like, what kind of player are you? But I feel like I kind of know you as a player, like hearing you talk over the years. So I would recommend 2 different ones for you. The first one would be the Epicurean, which you can get from the new dungeon, and it's craftable.
Yeah.
It's probably, and not a lot of people know this, but it's probably one of the most solid fusion rifles in the game. It's the same archetype as main ingredient, but the difference is it just feels so sticky, and you can get exactly the roll you want with it. Whereas main ingredient, you have Xur's ingredient, but you don't have the actual god roll of main ingredient. Has rangefinder on it, and you just would have had to got super lucky from Dares of Eternity to have had that drop. So the Epicurean, if you get rangefinder on that one, or if you craft it with rangefinder, pretty much almost none of the other things even matter. As long as you have rangefinder on it, it just feels so incredible. So that's the first one. The second one that I would recommend is, and this is my personal favorite for how fast you can go with it, Burden of Guilt, the Neutralis fusion, is so incredibly good. It's probably my #1 fusion in the game right now. Like if I had to just pick any fusion, it would be Burden of Guilt, because adaptives are really in now with the way that the archetypes have changed, and they've nerfed kind of the bolts to kill on a lot of different ones. So Burden of Guilt with a high impact reserves roll can still 5 bolt at pretty much any resilience. It'll depend towards the bottom of the mag the way high impact reserves works. But it is so fast. You can put an adept charge time mod on it. It doesn't affect your damage. And this is I'm going to give you all a secret to fusion rifles that nobody will tell you.
All right.
Please do.
Yeah.
Get your notepads out, everybody.
So this is I feel like it blows people's mind when I tell them, but I haven't had a single person come back to me and be like, this sucked. I hated it. Put the adept targeting mod on the fusion rifle, which tanks your stability. It gives you like a -10 or something crazy to your stability, but it gives you more aim assist, and then stack on fusion targeting mods on your helmet to up the aim assist even more. And that thing is like a magnet. I've put my stability down to 17 on it, and it still is just mapping people. It feels
Really?
so good. Yeah.
Solid
So I always
advice.
thought that doesn't stability impact like the spread on the bolts, and aren't you always meant to build in the stability?
I could
Why you
do
blow me worlds first? I'm just fucking learning.
I
still.
could do a whole episode on just that question. So the stability
Mylan's
does matter.
head thing has fallen off. As you've truly angered the.
Oh, somebody mentioned Cartesian in chat, and that's actually right up there, borderline with you just can't get Cartesian anymore.
Right.
And nobody knew it was good when it was around. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Cartesian is a rapid fire that has aim assist like out the ceiling compared to other rapid fire fusion rifles. Anyways, stability.
I have a Cartesian with high impact reserves and under pressure.
Yes, that is like the god roll. As long as you don't have charge time stuff messing with it.
I don't think I do. No,
Nice. You've got it. That thing is
Pretty good.
so good.
it feels really good.
So stability, yes, it does over time, over the bolts change the way that they connect, like aim assist wise. But range will further the cone for which your aim assist will work.
Right.
And so that's what makes it feel sticky when you're drag shooting. If you're playing really aggressive with a fusion rifle and you're dragging it over your target, it's going to help those bolts connect. And a lot of people, they invest in stability to help control the recoil of the fusion rifle as it shoots. Whereas if you're a really good fusion rifle player, you can control that recoil yourself and then let range and aim assist take over to help you connect the bolts.
Very nice. Hefty
At least-
and Mylan gonna want to do some trials, huh?
Let's go.
I
let's
know.
go.
As soon as you said trials and the best, I was like, oh, am I gonna have to play trials legitimately and farm for
Well,
this?
you know what?
Yep.
Here's my issue. BXR is so goddamn good. I can't take it off. I love that gun. I don't know.
That's
what's with
why
it.
you
It is
want
so good.
the trials fusion, Mylan. It's a primary.
True. Okay, let's get in there.
Mylan's
there.
like,
I'll get
God
that."
damn it, I got
Okay.
That is another reason I love that thing. I actually started pairing it. Another thing I got known for a little bit of time was running double special. I had a whole movie of the week that I won with Big Daddy Teej, who does voiceover work. He does amazing impressions.
great.
Awesome.
And he did like the story of my the man with two rifles, two special weapons, a sniper rifle and a fusion rifle. And so now that we have Burden of Guilt in the primary side, I'm like, oh, I can use glaives with fusions. Like, I'm just gonna be a monster now. There's a lot of possibilities.
Cool. Well, thanks for the quick advice live on the podcast. You know, I appreciate that. Because I've been looking to retire some past fusions and get some new stuff going. But I don't really want to play trials. But then again, it would be good to have that. So we'll see.
You could always go for the dungeon. I'd got all my crafted Epicurean, like all the red borders done in one single night, just farming that first encounter.
Nice,
so
yeah.
they up the drop rate, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I recently got one that is probably doo-doo. 2 excess and repulsor brace. So surplus liquid coils. You know.
Well, we got you into Kingsfall again. You're well into raids, so maybe Trials is next on the list.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
it.
see.
We'll see.
You've been enjoying Control. It's time. Play more PvP with Control.
Maybe. I don't know. You know, I guess this is a good time to connect up into the PvP side of things with like Iron Banner that's happening. You know, how we
Iron
feel.
Banner.
How we feel about Iron Banner, huh?
It's good.
Yeah.
I love
It's very
it
good.
so
It's
much.
very fun. Yep. It's really fun. I played a lot of Iron Banner.
Eruption.
I don't really understand the rules, but it just feels like I should go out there and kill people, and that's what I'm doing. And that's
So the rules of Eruption are you get 2 kills and then you're like regenerating a little bit of energy for yourself. And then when you get 5, you give a big bump to everyone on your team. And that's when you're marked on the map. And if you don't kill someone in 15 seconds, you're going to explode. But every kill that you're getting is giving you like huge regen on all of your everything, your super, your grenades, your melee, everything. So yeah, I just like Sebright. You just want to go out there and kill people. That's it. You just want to go out there and kill people.
cool. I can
And
do
you
that.
get more points. The higher kill streak you're in, you get more points towards the actual winning of the game mode
Right.
as you get kills.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
whole lot of stuff that if you don't know, is kind of like it feels like you're just playing another version of Iron Banner, except randomly someone gets highlighted and might explode, or
Yeah.
you might explode. In fact, I've saw some people explode and kill each other. I bet they were like, why did I just die?
I've seen some big swings in scores too. Like it looks like my
Yeah.
team is getting crushed, and then all of a sudden we start coming back, and then we win the game, which is
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting with everyone's. It seems like people are glowing about it on Twitter, and then last week it was like Crucible's ruined forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was so
Yeah.
looking forward to
Yeah.
Iron Banner because there's no skill-based matchmaking. So now it feels like kind of a healthy balance. So if you have Control, which has the skill-based matchmaking, you have the Iron Banner, which doesn't. And Iron Banner with this mode is super chaotic.
Mhm.
At least it tends to be chaotic. So you kind of have like this nice mixture now, which is nice. It's also
Yeah.
very
And
different to
that's-
Rift. Rift was like very methodical and
True.
competitive feeling.
That's really what it felt like Destiny PvP has been missing, that chaotic, like
Yes.
any sort of thing that just makes you kind of go crazy. And the way this game mode works, whenever you get your kill streak going and you start getting your abilities back, especially if you're running Arc 3.0, it makes you want to just keep running. Like, oh, you got your speed boost. Oh, your abilities are going faster. I'm going to do something stupid and just run in. And that's what PvP kind of needs, is people to just
Yes.
not think so much, just run and shoot and have fun, you know? And there were a few people, for me, I felt like whenever I was playing it, that would be so careful with their life, to where 5 people from the other team would just be holed up with pulse rifles, just kind of not moving. And that's when the game slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I felt like most people were moving and using the momentum and the ability regens to keep rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally agree. I felt like for the first time in a while that this was a true kind of Destiny mode. Because any of the chaotic modes we've had are like Mayhem, which is all the way on the side of you're just never going to get into gunfights ever. Or you have momentum control where you're kind of just like one-tapping people, which doesn't give you that back and forth feeling of gunfights. So Eruption is like a real nice middle ground where it's chaotic, but you could still have gunfights. And yeah, it feels like it's great for Destiny instead of trying to be something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good for Destiny.
Have they said if this is going to be just for Iron Banner this season, and then we're going to get a new game mode in Iron Banner next season? Or have they mentioned?
I think in the TWAB they mentioned something like you can expect like us to do little twists on game modes in the future, like more kind of stuff like this where it's basically Clash and Mayhem put together. But yeah, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like they're experimenting. They're trying to figure out. They know that they have a problem with the Crucible, and this is like the beginning of the rollout of changes to potentially fix things. You know, as we're seeing, they're adjusting SBMM. They're trying out different modes with Iron Banner. You know, there's a season coming that's supposedly focused on Crucible, right?
There's going to be a comp rework next season.
Comp rework. There you go. Yeah. So they're making changes and adjusting as they see as things go by. For me, I was middle ground when it comes to Iron Banner, but I haven't really been playing the Crucible that much. I was like, it feels like similar stuff. And then I got a roll here and there, or, got onto like the getting supercharged, whatever, and the eruption stuff. And once you catch a little bit of that, then it starts making more sense. But yeah, it was fun, but it didn't make me go, oh man, I can't wait to play Iron Banner all the time.
I mean, maybe for me, it was just like it was better than quick play. I don't know. It was. I
Yeah.
think it was a combination of. It just sort of felt like how Crucible should feel in Destiny, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
I was going any crazy streaks, but I'm sure if you're really good at the game, you could. I was getting the 5 streak and then going in and doing whatever. I really liked it. I played a lot of it, to be honest.
Nice.
And then I went back to quick play. I was like, no.
Well, I'm sure quick play is kind of empty right now because the majority of the
yeah.
population is probably playing Iron Banner, right?
Yeah.
I think they actually announced too. I don't know if it was Bungie Help or one of the Twitter accounts said that they like loosened basically
Mhm.
SBMM a little bit more to allow for faster games because there was just so many people playing Iron Banner, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was it was September 7th. There was a tweet that said to help alleviate ongoing latency issues, we've made the following matchmaking adjustments to Crucible control. Lowered allowable latency threshold for matchmaking and allowed for wider skill ranges to match sooner.
Yeah, because most people are playing Iron Banner. I mean, that's the new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Got to try out the new mode. People are enjoying it, so yeah, the population's going to be there. And it's split into two, so it's like really there's 3 major ones with the 5 kind of sub ones that people may or may not pay attention to, right?
Yeah, I have a question for y'all with the Iron Banner mode. Have any of y'all erupted yet? Have y'all blown up from the timer for
Definitely.
You have? Okay. I
Yeah.
haven't done it yet. I feel like every time I see that timer, I'm immediately like, I gotta run, you know?
Yeah,
So,
so it's when friggin' Disjunction's there,
Yeah.
or one of
Yep.
those maps, and you
Ugh.
go, you're like in the spawn, and you're popping off, and you kill 5 people, and then it's like, oh, the spawn has flipped, so you have to run all the way to the other side. Everyone can see exactly where you are, so you're just hoping to like catch someone with a snipe or something to try and keep it going.
I actually had like the flip side of it happen. What you were talking about earlier, Lego, about how people, some teams playing it safe, because it was on burnout and I was outside and people were coming to me. So I was like, okay. And I tried Jade Rabbit. I haven't tried Jade Rabbit in forever because I hated it. And it's pretty good. Pretty good, So I was using Jade Rabbit, going back and forth. And then it was like the timer was happening. I had my super and I was like, I should just wait for people to come to me because they're going to, I'm on the map. I'm listed, right? They didn't come for me.
Some people just like, just
That
let
dude's
him
probably
blow
got a
up.
super. I'm gonna stay away from him.
Yeah.
Just let him blow up.
They were like,
Yeah.
we'll stay inside. You can have the burnt out sun. It's fine. So
I can't work out what's better yet. Like whether you should pop your super when you're like erupted to keep it going, or if you should like just play it out and then use your super to get 5 kills again and then get your super back,
I think if you're
You
fully
got your
committed,
strats yet?
if you're fully committed, like they're just going for it seems like the best place to be, right?
Well, your super comes back quicker when you're erupted, so you sort of want to not have your super, right? So you sort of want to use your super to get 5 kills.
Oh, I
'cause
see
then
what you're
you're
saying.
out of super,
Gotcha.
and then your super's going to come back quicker, so you're going to be able to chain supers together. But also, it's very tempting to just pop it when you've got like, 10 seconds to get a kill. You don't want to just blow up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see if any strats develop from this, like I don't know, like a Titan bubble. Like somebody gets the 5 kill streak, they're marked, and then they just Titan bubble around a corner, so people run around like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get the guy, and he's like sitting there like waiting for him in Titan bubble, something like that.
I dig it.
I've definitely seen a lot of people in wells that have all been like, is it called erupted? What is it called when you've got the thing? Is it just
Primed.
primed?
Yeah,
I've definitely seen like multiple people sitting in a well being primed.
I've seen that too.
And you're like, they're all primed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting also seeing a bunch of teammates primed, running around with numbers, being like they're gonna explode at some point.
Yeah, because you get you get an extension just from getting assists, so you
True.
don't have to get kills. Sometimes you just gotta tag people and you extend your timer, so you can have a whole squad of people running around that are all primed. As long as you get a bullet on someone, your timer's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Arc buddies are really great for that because you can just run around and the arc buddies just pew 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 pew.
True.
Yeah,
Keeps it going.
I've been using skip nades because they just track stupidly good with Shinobi's Vow on, and you don't even have to get the kill.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
peg a skip grenade and watch the numbers fly off.
Did they say that this season also there's only going to be 2 Iron Banners?
Yep.
It's weird.
I
It's
would
a
love
weird change.
3. I would love
Yeah.
3 because the season's 3 months, so you have 1 a month. I feel like that would feel a bit better, especially as you're bringing in these new modes that people are like excited to play.
Yeah, because
They really pulled back on how many Iron Banners there are.
Yeah.
Like at one point, it felt like there was one every other week, right?
well, it was the filler
Yeah.
content when they needed something to
It
put in
was,
for a
yeah.
week. It was kind of
Yeah.
like
Do
the
you think-
go-to.
that has to do with now you can focus gear, and like maybe they don't want you to get all that gear so fast. I don't know, something like that. Now that gear is more targetable, but it's such a fun thing. I wish it was around more, and I really appreciate. You know, I know it's been a season since they implemented this, but the light level not mattering, because I think y'all talked about it last week some, at least I think I heard Briar talking about it, but the way that you just play the game the way you want to play to have fun and just kind of let go of light level and just have fun with it. And then you can do stuff like Iron Banner when they open those doors. That's kind of how I approach the game anyway. And like, if I can't do that Grandmaster, whatever, but at least they opened up the doors for Iron Banner to where like new players can play. If you're not on the light level grind, you can swap around gear and try out new stuff. So I'm still enjoying that change from last season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. I need to play more Eruption. You know, I need to give it more time.
I think you'll like
for
it.
me.
Give him more time.
I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like blown away. But then again, I've been not smitten with the Crucible for a while. It's
But
has
you were
not
feeling
been my
so
go.
good at the end of side quests. You were like, man, I think I'm back. Control's feeling great.
No. Okay, so what happened was I had one time where I teamed up with memes and went in, and SBMM was extremely kind. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're cheating, getting in them lobbies.
It kind of felt because like I was so prepared for just everything around the corner to come at me and be like, all right, everybody's throwing the pre-nade and got the posting up and like also the connection stuff being terrible, because that's one thing I noticed as well. So in the SBMM matches with memes, the connections felt perfectly fine, but I was also having no problem outgunning anybody that challenged me. But on the Iron Banner matches, like people would be dropping from the jump, land, and then I get 3-shotted. So like the connections were not in real time. Essentially, it was calculating where the stuff was, and it's like on my screen that person is landing on the ground. So there's no way they could have shot me 3 times, but on their screen they landed on the ground then shot me 3 times. So that's where that latency stuff comes in, and that's ultimately where I've had my biggest issues with Destiny's PvP in the past, where I always said netcode and all that, because historically it's been bad.
That's why that change is good, where they said they lowered allowable latency threshold.
Yeah. I didn't play Control though.
Yeah.
This week. Yeah.
Hopefully that helps with Control.
So yeah, I played a little bit with memes, and I noticed that the SBMM was definitely like, let's make sure no one else is in here that's bullying.
Clear the way.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Eruption. It's been super fun. It's basically exactly how I like to interact with Destiny's PvP, of just grab whatever, run at them into a massive group of people, see what happens. And if you die, you die. If you get a bunch of kills, it's fun, and then you die, and it's great.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And they sort of needed a win for a new game mode, really. So it was...
Yeah.
I mean, if it flopped, it would have been pretty hard. I think they've really needed this for a while, having a new game mode. Rift didn't do it when it came back, so it was nice to have the win with Eruption and seeing some positivity about Destiny PvP and people enjoying it. So it's nice.
Rift just had too many bugs from the launch. It seems like Eruption is a lot more ironed out for new mode.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy though either. It's not like Rift where you picking up sparks and like dunking them and stuff like that. But
true,
it's a pretty simple mode in comparison. But it's different enough to make people play different.
Yeah.
And I think when you combine that with a higher population, because it's Iron Banner and the way the matchmaking's working, you actually get a good experience. And that's, what we've sort of been saying. It's like the trifactor. It's the population, it's the matchmaking, and then it's like game modes. You just can't just sort of change one and hope for the best. You sort of need all of them. And I think that's what's Iron Banner is why it's been fun, is you got increased pop, you've got different matchmaking, and you've got a game mode. People having fun.
While I was playing this week, Iron Banner, though, I was really thinking to myself, man, they really need fucking new maps in this game. Like, we are now playing maps that have been around for like 8 years, 7 years, God, it's fun getting new maps, because you got to learn like all the angles, you got to learn like where the spawn points are, you got to learn, just where you're likely to make contact with the enemy. Everything about it is like new, and like I like Rusted Lands, but man, I've been playing that game that map for a long time. Like it is time. It'd be nice to see some freshies. Like I want to every
like
half year at
Destruction,
least.
You don't like
What's that?
Destruction? You don't like
Is
Destruction?
that the big long one that they introduced for Rift?
Rift. Yeah.
Yes.
I do like it, actually. I do like it. It's just a little big for, I think, this game mode. It feels a little slow.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of Rift, right? Where Rift maps, they want it to be big, so you have a long way to go with the spark, and you can't just grab it and dunk it. And then this game mode does a lot better when things are closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because
but
of
at least
map
it's
weighting.
new. I don't know all the angles when I go up. Like I jump up on a ledge because I know there's a guy on the other side. I don't know the angles that are going to be looking at me, and that's exciting because, it's activating the learning part of your brain, which
I was going out to the
is not
swamp
active
side,
in Rusted Lands.
going out to the swamp side with the Jade Rabbit, waiting for people to challenge me out in the swamp.
Yeah.
You're swampy.
All swampy bottoms. Because here's my Jade Rabbit.
Uh-huh.
Not a lot of people want to challenge me, unfortunately.
No, when I see
Well, they
people
just probably
sitting
couldn't
there,
make it
I'm
out
like,
there.
nah,
Yeah.
fuck
Long
you.
hike.
Same. When I see, because I'm like, I know they have a scout rifle out there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would not
Jade
be out
Rabbit
there.
too.
Yeah, so
and
I'm
Jade
like,
Rabbit
nope,
as well.
Nope.
Nah,
I'm
come
out.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come running out. What's going on out here? Oh, hey, it's Daphne.
Lego, how do you feel about them not bringing back trials until the end of the month?
I actually don't mind it. Being someone who like plays trials every single weekend, it gives you time to like embrace the PvE side of the game fully. I love dungeons. I love the raid, even though trials is like probably one of the main things I'm playing. I love Rumble. I love the competitive playlist. Even a lot of times I'm the kind of player who will like bang their head against a hard spot and lose like 10 games and just like, oh, well, I'll try again, but
Wow.
I like the time that I have to dive into the dungeon and try to solo that, like something I've been putting off, or maybe there's a certain weapon, Dares of Eternity, has the craftable stuff now you can go in, like, oh, I need to go get those. I can spend time on that stuff. So I think it just gives us time to engage in the other parts of the game, which is what I think they want us to do. So I like it.
Yeah, you're right. It is smart.
Yeah.
And also, man, Destiny is so much right now. If you're a new player, oh my God. So many things to go and chase, right?
And the more you get into Destiny, the more shit you have to do as well. So it's like the more you enjoy it, the more you're like, oh, yeah, actually, I do want that craftable. Oh, yeah, I should do that raid. Oh, yeah, what about Pinnacles? Oh, about my third character? Like, fuck. I gotta read the lore. Give me a break.
How do you feel, Lego? How do you feel about the raid and like the redesign? Well, not redesign, but like the remaster.
I love it. I love it so much. I feel it, like, even being someone who does like raid isn't a priority for me every week. I'm not like, oh, I got my raid team this night. That's like trials for me. But I still, anytime I need to go in, number one, I love the fusion rifle they introduced. There's perk combinations on that thing that are not possible on any other fusion rifle in the game, which is really cool. And all the guns, actually, I think the loot is very incentivizing. The fact that you can roll all these combinations that weren't possible on the hand cannon and
then craft them.
scout rifle. Yeah. So the loot is appealing and the activities are like fun. The stuff that they added in is nice. Yeah, War Priest is a bit of a tank, but now that it's not contest mode, it's like, it's just a part that's a little slow, but it's still fun.
Yeah, they did a good job. It's really impressive, actually, to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And aesthetically too, like just graphically, just walking in again for the first time or walking into the throne room again for the first time. This game just looks so good. Speaking of which, the seasonal content this season looks so good. The story mission this week, all the skybox stuff that they've been doing, it's just incredible.
Yeah, I took a moment to look around. I was like, dude, this looks so good. This space rock. Just some outpost is on.
Destiny's a beautiful game. It really is.
I was surprised how much they did with the whole pirate theme with the ships and how much they've integrated it into the different missions and like where you're going. It's always like hovering above you. It just makes you feel like the mission is actually happening. And I know in the past Destiny hasn't felt quite like that at times, but it really feels very immersive this season in particular, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I like it a lot. I've really been enjoying this season.
Me too.
Yeah. I've
I've been enjoying the season, but I haven't really been playing the seasonal activity. I've just been doing other stuff. I've been doing like the raid and like Iron Banner and just sort of general.
Yeah, I mean,
feel like-
same. I feel like there's so much stuff to do, but when I have been playing the season activity, I've actually been enjoying it a lot, right?
Yeah, it's good too. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
do think it's the seasonal activity feels, maybe it's because I'm not as required. I don't know. It doesn't feel as repetitive, I think, as the Leviathan activity did, because you're not in that
Yeah.
same location the whole time. You're like
Mhm.
moving around and you go, you jump from ship to ship and then you go do an expedition where you go find treasure, which is your in-game loot that you're looking for. And so I really want the sidearm with a certain roll of perks. And so I haven't even got it to drop once yet, but I keep rolling the activity because it's pretty fun. Trials isn't around yet. It's like one of those things, I'm like, get to take a break from that side of the game and just run these, pirate adventures. It's pretty awesome.
I just had a drop with a Volt Shot, that sidearm.
Nice.
I was like, I
really want the melee combination of Pugilist, because they have inherently, like, their intrinsic perk is a melee, not a buff, I can't remember, but it's like all of it orients around the melee. And so you could have that with Pugilist, with Swashbuckler, or some crazy combo like that where everything is oriented around your melee, and then put it on a melee build and you're just going wild. So there's incentive to get it big time if you're a melee person.
Speaking of builds, so we now have all of the light the 3.0s for all light classes. What is your favorite to date, if you can? I know that might be a bit of a big topic, but as of now,
it's so tough because I love all of that. I'm having a lot of fun with Arc 3.0. I think personally, I like builds where I can increase my damage to do really ridiculous things. So it's hard for me to say that Arc is my favorite because there's no real damage building. It's all speed building, which is still cool, or like ability region building and that kind of stuff. And I love that stuff too. And I'm definitely making builds and having fun with it. But I love like the solar stuff. I made a whole glaive build that was just on Lubre's Ruin that had Swashbuckler, to where I'm like throwing a throwing knife, swapping to Lubre's Ruin to get Swashbuckler to activate × 5 when the throwing knife hits. And then I'm Radiant because there's a fragment that gives you Radiant on a melee hit. So plus 10% from that, plus 33% from Swashbuckler × 5. And then I'm one-shotting with a Glaive running around at 5 Brazil, up to 5 Brazil. So stuff like that. I can't do that with Arc 3.0, but I can do that with Solar. But I think my favorite thing, just for the mental gameplay loops, and I'm fine, like I know it's annoying, but Invis Hunter is so good in Crucible still, and I know it's so annoying, but they just gave us a new Hunter exotic, Gerfalcons, that gives you a 15% damage boost when you come out of Invis. Wow. And it works, and it's even more than that in PvE, but in PvP, it works. It's like an on-demand 15% buff. Basically what the Solar Titans, what was the hell, Laurely? It's basically that, but without all the extra stuff, just the damage buff.
Wow.
So I can use that to stack on top of like a Kickstart fusion rifle and break the range barrier to hit them from any range as long as I land the bolts. One hit kill. So there's some crazy stuff that you can do with Void and with Solar that I can't do with Arc. So
yeah, that's
That seems very strong with Invis.
I've been using Gerfalcon with Rat King.
Oh yeah, that's good.
With Rat King, you're Invis all the time. And you reload, you go Invis, you heal, and then you come out of it. You have extra damage. You get it again.
Very good.
Also, there's a new perk called Gut Shot, which, if you don't know what that does, it is where's my Gut Shot? I want to read it exactly.
Body shots increase.
aiming down sights increases body shot damage, but decreases your target acquisition. So if you are on controller or even on mouse, but you probably don't want to have this on like a hand cannon. But if you're running a sidearm, you're not really aiming for the head when you're using a sidearm. You're kind of just like pointing it and spraying it and seeing what happens. So using that with Gerfalcon, so I'm getting the 15% damage buff plus gut shot doing more body damage.
Oof.
Murder.
Murder.
Nice. Meta.
Meta.
Pretty good.
Meta.
Or speaking of glaive builds that I mentioned earlier, Blueberry's Ruin can also do something that no other glaive can do. Hardly any weapons can do this, but crafting surrounded gives you an enhanced surrounded. Actually, is one of the only enhanced perks that will actually up your damage. So enhanced surrounded plus a surrounded spec gives you a 47% damage buff, even in PvP. And so if you used your falcons with that and just yeet yourself in, I call it the yeet machine. That's my name for the glaive. But you can literally just yeet yourself into the enemy and get that 15% damage boost from your falcons to one shot any resilience level at all, which is pretty crazy. Situational, but crazy.
Yeah, that would be one of those things where if I died to that, I'd be like, what? And I wouldn't know that like the build is, providing all these things.
I have many a DM that look like that.
Nice cheeks, bro. That's cool. I love all the intricacies of the stacking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Me too. Now I just need to figure out how to do with Arc 3.0 and all the ability regions. I'm not quite there yet, but I do like, and there's some interesting stuff. There's a spark of feedback, I think it is, where if you get meleeed, your melee damage increases. And I think you can use feedback fence on a Titan to where if someone punches you, you can just one punch then from feedback fence plus the feedback fragment. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Wow. That's
cool.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Briar is ready for that one.
A bunch of people are going to hate me.
Thinking about that. It's like,
I feel like a bunch of people are going to hate me after this episode. They're going to be like, Lego introduced all these broken builds. Everybody's going to know about them now.
Well, okay. So what's interesting is there's been discussions about like the new player experience also with like mods, and some of the stuff requires mods, and the pathway to get that stuff, it really feels like it's been just forgotten about from the new player experience, because you just have a lot of them. You have to wait for what's his name, Banshee, to sell them, right?
Yep.
And Ada. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ada. Yeah.
Yep.
Why don't they have them drop naturally, like around?
That would be so much better if it was just like you could play the game and they would just drop from you playing the game. Because if you're a new player, you're going to be playing everything. You're going to be
You're doing a legendary lost sector. Oh, you got the mod. Great. You're doing a nightfall. Got the mod. Great.
You'd naturally be able to unlock them instead of being like, it's been 5 months since this one was sold. It's never going to happen.
Yeah,
and especially like if you're a new player and you're not, if you don't have a friend that's helping you out, you probably would miss that stuff. You would just miss it. You'd be like, what are mods?
It'll be like 4 months until you know to check for the mod.
Yeah. A lot of these.
Wouldn't it be cool if they did something like, the way they do the tables for the seasonal stuff where you like unlock stuff as you go? Like, what if they made it like more like another RPG game you played where you like experience up and are able to unlock stuff, but it's like a list, like a library or of collections, like they have collections tab now of all the mods, and it's like, oh, you did this many lost sectors, you unlock this mod, or maybe it's experience based or some, anything like that, where you could just have a progression thing and a new player could see all the mods that are available, like, oh, I want that one, I'm gonna do this stuff so that I get that mod and really feel like they're leveling up and progressing.
Yes.
Yeah, they should. Like what's the not the guided games? What's the new thing they're introducing where they like give you little tasks, like the commendations, but not commendations, whatever it's called.
What they're called?
Yeah, where you like rank up guardian ranks.
Guardian ranks.
New players doing guardian ranks. Like, why not have like mod rewards for doing X amount of lost sectors or whatever they're taking them through to like learn the game? So at least you start getting some builds or,
Yeah, I agree. Like, they need some sort of aspect. So a lot of people say you should just be able to go and buy them, and like, I don't think that's fun. I think that's kind of
Yeah, just have them drop, man.
Yeah, well,
Because then it'll drop and you'll go, what is that? And then
Yeah,
you can look at it.
the RNG drop side is like it feeds that dopamine hit. I do like that, but I actually really like this idea of it being an RPG progression thing that shows you it unlocking and like how you could potentially go about, because they made build crafting in the game, but now it's really inaccessible for a lot of people that just get into the game.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
hugely.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is incredibly unfortunate. So if they had this other aspect of it for people to be onboarded, and then, like you said, with the guardian ranks, understand how to go and unlock these mods to add to their collection, I think that would, I think it would increase the reception of the game dramatically for new
Yeah.
players, because then they'd see
Like
that.
when I
right?
had the new player for the Fortnite collab, I took them through, like, tried to make like the most basic, just like a solar hunter build. Essentially, just throw your knives, get your knives back. He bought the wrong aspect, and then didn't have enough glimmer to get the next one. Forgot to meditate, and then couldn't get the fragment. And it's like, I just wanted to show the basic concept of, if you have these things working together, if you throw your knives, you're gonna get them back. If you get a kill, you get them back.
Yeah.
And it was like literally 2.5 hours of gameplay, and couldn't showcase that
Yeah, that's rough.
of like but maybe that's the thing though. It's like, oh, you need to play the game to like get a build, but also are people gonna invest in a game? Like, if you don't get them to that point to understand what's possible, then they might leave before they get there.
Mhm.
So
That's why at least the gift from the Thunder Gods was a pretty
yeah, that was
big
really
step
good.
in the right direction, because they didn't just give you stuff that makes you able to play the content. They gave you armor with mods already on it.
Yeah,
True.
So
that was
that
huge.
was great, because like I said, I was playing with brand new players and they were stopping unstoppable champions because it was on their armor. It came with it. So I was like, oh my god, what was that? And then I looked at their armor and I'm like, wow, actually give you like a fairly decent setup for your first mods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a
Yep.
step in the right direction for that.
Yeah.
For sure.
new play experience for build crafting is still a little while away. I think maybe when the loadouts come, maybe that will help. But still, mods are a
Yeah.
big issue.
I also think, even as a veteran player, going over to Ikora, being like, oh, there's some fragments, and then you meditate the statue, is such a weird way to get game-changing elements.
It's a weird extra step that
I don't
just
even-
doesn't seem to need to be
Right.
there.
How would you
That
know
has
it's
to be
there?
like some weird system thing. That has to be some
Yeah.
weird, like, we can't work out why this is not working, but we're just gonna have to ask players to press square one more time once they exit the system.
The impression I
Like-
get from it is that they had plans for a more interesting way to acquire these aspects, and had to scrap it to get it in the game, and instead Ikora is the vendor for that, because clearly you could see additional aspects drop for these classes at some point. It's like, oh, there's a new arc thing that's being introduced. It's going to
Yeah.
be wild because it's going to change this. Like, oh, that's cool. So they need a way to acquire that stuff. But dumping the glimmer on Ikora, then sitting at the statue for a second to get this stuff, such a weird, like, go get your
I'm just-
aspects, Guardian.
I'm just glad we didn't have to do what we did with all the stasis stuff, where you have to
Yeah.
do a mission and then
Oh,
go
God.
back to the stranger and then come back, and it was just that back and forth, back and forth. I'm pretty sure there's stuff I'm still missing somewhere, just because I was like, I'm not
Yeah.
making that run again.
Yeah.
They might do that for Strand, because all of these are ones we already have, Arc, Solar, and Void. So I think they don't want it to be like, go out and go get that thing that you've had access to for like 8 years and now you
Yeah.
don't. So with
Yeah.
Strand,
Yeah.
maybe.
So, okay, if they do it with Strand, like, what they have to do that Stasis fall flat on is they need to make it, like you were talking about, this horizontal progression thing where you start here, you do activities around the entire universe of Destiny, and it slowly progresses to unlock it, as opposed to go pick up this one specific thing from the Exo Stranger and then go do this specific task that you don't want to do on Europa, and then after a bunch of time you finally unlocked it. Terrible progression system.
I'd rather
just
have like a series of missions, a badass cutscene, and then I have access to Strand.
Yeah,
Yeah, that too.
I wouldn't complain about that.
I think if it was just like using Strand. As you're using Strand, you learn to use more Strand. You don't have to do anything specific or go do a quest or do X amount of melee kills on this thing. It's just, hey, you're using Strand. That's cool.
I
Here's
like
more
that
Strand.
idea, Watts. What if they just gave it to you and then each mission, like the next 6 missions, would showcase a particular part of it? So
That'd
it
be
would
cool.
kind of teach you how to use it
Yeah.
as you
That is cool.
went through the missions.
I
Yeah.
would love that.
This is what I
That'd
was
be
talking
awesome.
about, how D1 handled their subclasses. And it was more
Yes.
interesting because it wasn't directly tied to you have to go do this activity or whatever. It was just use the weapon or use the subclass, and then it slowly unlocked as you did activities. And that made it feel more of like an RPG, and that's why light level made sense back then.
I
Today,
feel like I
not so
gave me
much.
ownership over it too. Like I felt like
Yeah.
I had unlocked it, so it was now
Mhm.
mine. Like I had worked for this.
Yeah.
Did you, talking about Strand, did you say that the grapple hook is tied to a grenade in the interview with Joe and,
Yeah.
I can't remember which website it was, but it basically confirmed that the grapple will be your grenade button.
Okay, that makes sense.
So,
Hmm.
Like you hold it.
yeah. Well, you're not going to have a grenade. I think what it's saying is your grenade will be grapple.
No grenade, huh?
So that, yeah,
Just
yeah.
move
it.
I assume so. It's the grenade cooldown, so.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it'd be like the way thrusters are for Titans now. Like it gives up your class ability to have this other ability.
That
Yeah.
definitely balances it.
Yeah.
And also opens it up to being available in the Crucible. Because if it was like this extra thing that you could just do all the time, that
Yeah.
would be a different experience completely. But if it's tied to a grenade, then yeah, you can use it in Crucible.
True.
Yeah, it was
Start getting that discipline armor, everybody.
It was, yeah, Games Radar was the article, yeah. And they also talked about power level too, and about making big changes. Don't know if they specifically said getting rid of it, but like it's on their radar that they don't like how what grinding for Pinnacles does to the game. There's some good parts of it, but there's a lot of bad things that Pinnacle grind does or having power level does, and they've sort of hinting at that they've been experimenting with it, and I think their experimentations has been the contest mode and campaigns. I think that's like their experimentation with seeing if people like challenging content where you just chuck them in there. They don't need to grind power levels. It's just sort of a capped experience.
I wonder how many people
So-
interact with the GMs versus interact with like contest mode events, And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be their
That-
indicator. Right?
That did keep me out of GMs for a really long time. As someone who like usually just plays PvP and doesn't do the light level grind, it took me a really long time to finally do a GM. And then once I did, I was like, I actually like this. This is fun. I like the challenge of it as someone who's not used to doing a ton of PvE stuff, but I just the light level climb to get there. And the only way that I've found to do it is someone who doesn't want to do pinnacles every single week. I just want to play the content that I want to, is just to hoard all my challenges and then join some fire team member and just turn them all in and watch my what is it, the XP, the extra XP light level stuff go up.
Yeah.
Grinding light level is the #1 source of burnout in this game for me. It's like when I have to do it, that's when I feel the most burnout, and I feel like I'm interacting with the game in a way I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I have to if I want to do a raid or something on day one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the FOMO kicks in really hard as well.
Yeah.
You are invested in that, and then you forget about doing stuff on your characters each week. Like, it can be a little depressing.
Yeah, they compared getting rid of power level to how scary it was to introduce crafting. I guess the underlying message was, are we going to like kill playtime? I think they didn't specifically say that, but like I guess if you think about why crafting would be scary, is like, are we going to kill our player base because then there's no RNG? You can just go and get what you want, and then people might go and play another game, touch grass, go outside, talk to their families, hug their children, etc. And obviously crafting didn't do that. Like there's enough grinding crafting that there's value in getting RNG stuff, and there's value in targeting what you want as well. And they said that getting rid of power level is like 10 times scarier than what they did with crafting, because obviously they already know how much numbers people play the game in different playlists. Because you think about it, it's across all your playlists. If you get rid of having to grind power level, like
the whole game,
no need to go to Gambit anymore.
Gambit just disintegrates. It becomes a ghost town. There's just like tumbleweeds blowing through Gambit.
Well,
You-
it becomes a big loot thing at that point. It's all about the loot if you get rid
Exactly.
of or the experience,
exactly.
one or the other. And they struggled at the beginning of D2 with the loot problem, and now they've kind of developed that over time. So maybe it is something that they're more willing to let go of now that the loot is a little more appealing and the crafting system is coming along.
I think crafting's helped too because like us, we've been going into raids. Look at us go doing Kingsfold to get like red borders because like you know what, some weapons in there we want to get, and it's worth going in there to play it because we want the loot. We want touch of malice. We want hand cannon crafted or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
you know, it's really interesting. I, for the past year, have barely thought about light level. Because I don't really care about being GM ready. So it hasn't been in the back of my mind to want to like interact with that stuff. So it's really just been auxiliary, like just show, yeah, sure. I got a higher drop. Great. Stuff it away. You know, I'll get higher drops later. You know, like
so much of the game is created around light level, right? There's so much of it when you think about it. It's the foundation of Destiny for like all the modes and the bounties that they have set up and the artifact and like so much is to do with light level that it would definitely be a big change.
Yeah, for me there is way more
Restructuring.
grind involved with chasing the drops to fit with stuff. Like, okay, you need a new exotic with a particular role. Like that's way more of a chase than, oh, I got to do my pinnacles and get the light level up or something.
Yeah.
You know, like you're looking at different places, like what Lost Sector is going to be dropping helmets, so you can possibly grind that and get a particular role on it. And also the chasing after drops with, like the crafting and the weapons and all that. I feel like that's significantly larger time investment at this point than just getting pinnacle drops and ready for light level. So I don't like if they drop the light level, I'm not really going to notice it.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be like the same game.
You're not going to notice any negatives. You might notice a positive, which is maybe you can go and do GMs, or if there's a GM that has a bit of loot that you want, you actually might jump into it now rather than just go, well, I'm not at level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would get a lot more people in there if you could just go, you know what? I'll give it a try. I'll see how it goes. I've never done it before. Let me give it a try. Instead of this, you have to do a big build up to get ready. And, you know, I'm sure most of the people who are wanting to run GMs on LFG and stuff are loaded towards the front of when GMs become available. So if you miss that boat, you know, can you find people to jump in with, or have they already found their teams that they like to play with?
Yeah.
So unless you're
On top of
hardcore
that,
grinding, you just won't be ready.
All they have to do is put in some cracked weapon, like get rid of light level, right, as a test, open up GMs, and then just put some big shiny carrot at the end, and then you'll just watch everyone flock in.
I would 100% be joining if it was an amazing must-have weapon that would drop.
Yeah. Put like some storm chaser kind of thing in there, some DPS king, you know.
Exactly. This week, I got several pinnacles that were on level or 1 point lower than what I actually needed.
Oh.
And I was like, I do not care about this system. It is actually demoralizing. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So, them 3.0s though.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
I have been enjoying blinking around. When I blink and I blink out of the way of a damn shoulder charging shield bash titan, it makes me giggle.
I haven't tried blink yet, actually.
When you're amplified and you're blinking, it is, you are so fast. I'm too high and too fast. I don't know where I am.
Too high and too fast.
I don't know what's going on. It's pure chaos. And in the mode especially, it's extra super chaos. Just running around blinking everywhere. And especially if you're using Tempest Strike as well, you're like sliding and uppercutting and blinking, and it's a lot of fun.
It's great.
A lot of fun.
I've been having a lot of fun on my Titan this season, but man, I'm watching some of the hunters have some fun, and I'm like, that looks a lot. That looks really good.
Yeah, I got to get my hunter back up.
Surprisingly, the warlock is the thing that gets me most excited. Like that's the one that I want to jump in and play again because of that lightning surge melee that like Sonic the Hedgehog do. It's just so cool.
Nuts.
So strong too.
Yeah,
really
it is fucking ridiculously strong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what I found,
it's very strong.
Well, what I found is like if you're in if you're fighting someone and they dip behind, you can then run in and do that melee, and it's likely going to hit them because they don't know that you're coming out of the ground suddenly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's. Go ahead, Mylan. Go ahead.
Look, so I haven't actually even opened my Warlock on Arc yet, so I don't know exactly what it. Like, I've only seen it come towards me. Can you even shoot people when they're in that ball of lightning, or are they like invulnerable, or is it just too quick to react most of the time?
It doesn't feel like you can. I feel like I've never been killed out of it. I'll be killed at the end of it.
Right,
A lot of
pop
times, like
out.
someone will kill me right when I come up, but I'll kill them too. So it's,
Yeah.
it feels very strong in that sense.
It feels like it has a long distance too. Like, I feel
Very
like I'm
long.
like they're like far away, and then all of a sudden there's Sonic the Hedgehog right next to me.
Well, it also
I'm
has-
taking damage, and they've like punch shotgun dead.
It's got like massive tracking. Like you just do it in the
Yeah.
general area, and it is going to lock onto them and pop out.
Really?
Yeah.
And it has bolts that go around it when you use it. And so it makes sometimes the damage be a little inconsistent, but it jolts and chains between opponents. So if you do it to more than one person at the same time, it's like an insta wipe
They're just
for
dead.
whoever's standing next to them.
I witnessed a warlock do it into like 4 people the other day, and they're just all dead. They're just all dead.
Yeah.
They just
It's-
sneak up, they sonic forward, and everyone's dead.
It's
If
crazy
you want
good.
to get very dirty with it, you could put on Winter's Guile and do this. I've been running around with like a lightweight shotgun, something that won't kill someone right away, assigning my normal melee and my charge melee, so that way I can do the normal melee on the person I shotgun melee, and then use the charged sonic move on somebody else after Winter's Guile is proc, which gives you like double the melee damage. It's like a lot more melee damage, enough to one-shot anyone. So it doesn't even matter if people are in a group at that point. You can just run up on anybody, one-shot melee.
Mhm.
That's really fun.
You can use it with necrotics and poison people.
I
You
need
can use
to
it
try
with
that.
the melee thing that heals you and kill people with a melee.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun interactions with warlock melee.
It's
So
really
talking to
good.
Lego, it makes you want to play Crucible and do these crazy builds, but then I get in there and I get one shot, triple shot.
By
Go,
Lego
Mylan,
with his
go
crazy
into
builds.
the
By me.
control playlist, Mylan. Go in the baby pool. Get in there.
Yeah, but I've been hitting the baby pool hard, and I think it's got to the point where it's too hard now.
I got it, Mylan. I got what you need to do. This is why I think I've been having more fun recently with Crucible, because I only run ridiculous stuff that maybe shouldn't work. It's putting me in like lower and lower skill-based matchmaking brackets. I've just put up with it until it puts me down, because I
call that
I do a
sandbagging,
lot
Lego.
of Crucible, but I run a lot of ridiculous stuff.
Right. She's saying persist with it.
Maybe.
Yeah, just-
Persist with being
Persist
bad
until you get
it
to the baby
works.
pool again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to it.
Yeah, on the bright side, if you do get dunked on in control, your next match could be a bit easier. You know?
Mhm.
That's-
Yeah.
That's true. Every time you get dunked on, embrace it as
Yeah.
almost there.
Aha. It's getting the games are getting easier.
Yeah, the clouds
Aha,
are parting.
You've fallen into my trap.
This is
what
what
I
I
wanted.
planned. Can't wait to use my one-shot glaive. Another 5 games of losing, and I'll be there. Hey, let's go.
Oh man, was there other stuff? There was like was there a twab?
There was, but there's literally nothing in it.
Okay,
So
empty
the
12.
more, the more interesting stuff is the lore this week. The
Oh yeah, the
story,
lore.
the jars
lore?
of jars of rotting flesh.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
Delicious.
What's up with that?
Hold on. If
We all
you-
decided there's Briar in there.
Curated.
there are massive spoilers going around. If you post spoilers in chat, you'll be deleted into oblivion
Yes.
on the YouTube comments or the Twitch comments. I am not
Yes.
going to say anything because I have already been spoiled. I will just tell you what happened this week. You guys, sure, if you haven't read anything, go for it. Predict what's going to happen. Do this, that, and the other. But yes, we got revealed that there is body parts in these darkness relics.
Yeah.
They are emanating darkness. They contain body parts. It gives me very much like the Mummy or something. Or what's that? What's the animes? What's the animes you watch? What's?
Jujutsu Kaisen?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
With the cursed stuff.
Cursed
that-
fingers. Collect
yeah.
the fingers of
Yeah.
what's his name?
Just pickled, pig's feet or something. It's in there.
Yeah.
Pickled fingers. Same thing.
Pickled fingers.
Yeah. And that
Still say eat 'em.
is.
Anyway.
There you go.
That's-
Obviously the witness The witness forced Eramis to collect these relics.
Right. You wanted them.
And it emanates darkness. So we're assuming they're collecting body parts of something related to darkness witness stuff.
Maybe it's Callus
that's
was
what
cutting off pieces of flesh, jarring them.
See, this was I was like, so, in the trailer for Lightfall, we just saw top and up of Callus. He's in a, steaming hot pot or something. So I think someone's just going
He's
there
in
and,
a hot
You
chopping
think
off
he's bathing
balls.
in like
putting it
dead people?
jar.
Just
Oh,
shaving
no,
off
no.
chunks.
Yeah,
He-
they're shaving off Callus and putting it in a
Oh.
jar. Yeah.
Oh, it's like Pizza the Hut where he eats himself. No, different than that.
Yeah, that's disturbing. You
Yeah.
know? Eramis is tapped.
I feel like I only have I'm not like a huge lore guy, but when I hear that, and I haven't read any spoilers, so this is just me like spitballing. I only think of two things, and I feel like I can't look at I'm gonna like hold my hand over his thing so he can't react. He can't tell me what it is. So it's either, and it's not. It's either, but my mind goes to these two places. Either the way, not the witness, but Rolk was experimenting on Scorn, and he had all those dissected body parts in the raid. And so I'm like, does it have something to do with that in the darkness? Obviously, that's connected to the witness. But even more so, as we were just describing it, it makes me think of the Drifter and his backstory of that planet that he went to that had creatures that, like, eliminated the light from. I don't know the lore as well about that part of the story, but if these pieces of flesh are emanating darkness, I'm like, does that have something to do with those other things that like eliminate the light? But I'm not sure if that's related. Those are just the only two things that immediately come to mind that I'm like, what if? And at the end of this season, or is it okay to like talk about what happens at the end of the story thing this week? When you
this week? Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end, there's not a distress call, but just a message that you kind of listen in on between Eris Morn and the Drifter. And the Drifter is like, oh, what could these things be? And Eris is like, you know what they are. Like, I don't need to tell you. And I'm like,
So I'm like, something Drifter's eaten before.
Pickled callus
Or
feet.
cooked with.
Yeah, Drifter seems to have knowledge of it, and I don't know where that comes from. He seems to know about
From
this
his
kind of stuff because
big
he said
sack.
it the week before too. He says like, "Oh, this reminds me of something. I'm going to go
Yes.
research it." And then he was the one that sort of revealed it had like body parts in it and gave it to Eris as some sort of weird date kind of thing.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
familiar with that stuff, having that giant sack he
He
pulls
is.
around with all his stuff in there, his darkness bits.
And he eats all the aliens. So, like, I don't think he gets the heebie-jeebies about these kind of things.
Yeah, he's into it.
Although apparently this one is stanky. So,
Yeah.
I do appreciate Eris Morn and Drifter's relationship that keeps popping up where they're like, I like listening to you talk, Moondust. Like, just all their interaction is so good.
Yeah.
It's so weird and good.
Yeah.
So exciting stuff. And I think this is what this season has been building towards because it's been a bit of the same every week. Actually, this season hasn't really pulled me in yet. It is very much the same thing said multiple different ways, which is like Mithrax has a dark past. There's something going on with these relics. Mithrax is being protective dad, doesn't want Ido to get caught up in it, and that's really that's the summary so far in these last 3 weeks. So we sort of are due for a bit of a plot twist or reveal. Probably going to be to do with these relics.
I feel like Mithrax was like the Florida man of Fallen and just was absolutely crazy on basalts, doing all kinds of weird. He was banished, and then he's had a daughter and then trying to get his life back together and trying to forget that Florida man past.
Well, yeah, pretty like it's funny because we know Mithrax has killed Guardians. We've already been over that. Like Saint 14's talked about their crusades before and how many Guardians Mithrax killed, and Saint's talked about how many Fallen he's killed. So I don't think it's just Mithrax, was a pretty fierce warrior against humanity. It seems like it's worse than that.
Yeah.
And maybe
Seems like he
related
did some
to this
bad things.
darkness. Yeah, he did some bad things.
Like
and
Fallen
potentially
considered
related.
or Lixney bad things, right?
Yeah, he was Florida man. But also they also keep hinting at the relationship between Mithrax and Spider, and there is a new lore entry that implies that Mithrax was the one to put Spider on the reef, or to exile him to the reef, or to that he banished Spider at some point. And whenever you hear that dialogue between them, you'll always pick up that Mithrax is is further up on the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And that's not only because he's the Kel right now, but you also get the impression that like Spider's actually quite submissive to Mithrax, which is not usually his character, and you get that impression because of their like back history, I guess. So they've sort of been hinting a lot at that too.
Yeah. Yeah, whether he's just crazy enough to do it or has the power, the pull, you know. Like he gets really pissed off about how Ido's been talked to by Spider. He's ready to cut his tongue out.
Yeah, and Ido's like just trying to gather information, like a little research assistant. Like I'm just being a scribe.
Yeah,
just scribing out, writing things down. It's my job.
They're making her more curious by being like, no, I don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't be involved with anything. When she's clearly someone who's curious and really wants to learn and wants to know stuff. So they're just making it worse.
Yeah,
it's a little bit predictable where the storyline I feel like is going. You know, protective dad, curious like daughter. That's like, oh, what's this darkness relic? I better not touch it. No, don't touch that. Like, you know, so. I think that's where it's going to.
Wouldn't it be crazy? I don't feel like Bungie's gonna do this, but Ido is such like a pure, like innocent character that you like want to protect and be like, yes, learn the truth and do good. But at the same time, like, wouldn't it be insane if she learns all this and then like is like, I feel like Eramis has a cause and like. That would just be like, that would get people's hearts like just like, no, you know, like and want to see it redeemed.
She's like pro witness.
That would be interesting too, because it would show the danger of the darkness. Just as we're once again going to embrace the darkness with the Strand ability, right?
Yeah.
And Bungie's not afraid to do dark stuff, so I wouldn't put it past them. But at the same time, this feels very like lighthearted before we before we get into Lightfall.
I would love for there to be a super dark twist at the end of it, like for something for Ido to just sort of really stuff stuff up and like, I don't know, unleash the darkness hell on the city by accident. Like, what are all these pieces of body? Put them all together and like some boss comes out and eats elixir babies or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Also, Mylan, we hired you for cursing, so stop stopping yourself.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, you have a quarter.
I don't know. I get nervous when it's not my own stream.
Gotta drop your C bombs.
Yeah. How many Australians showing? Yeah, I hope so. I hope there's a nice twist here. I actually you were talking about like Ido going towards Eramis, or like saying Eramis is right, and I think one of the letdowns right now for this season is Eramis is actually a really good character. My next video is about Eramis and her whole backstory, and she's sort of right. Like she had a wife, she had kids, she had a wife and kids, which I didn't know about. On their home planet, darkness showed up, pyramid ship showed up, witness showed up, sent them away, hasn't spoke to them, and then she sort of became this, you know, ruthless leader because they were confined to the catches during the long drift, which is when they were sort of chasing after the traveler.
Wait, how old are Fallen? How
old? I don't know, but she old. She real old.
Wow.
Like centuries old, I guess.
Hitting that ether.
Because it's been a while. And in the end, Eramis sort of wants what's best for the Elixir. Like she's not a friend of humanity, but she does want the Elixir to like come back to power, I guess, or to not be scavengers, or to not be chained to the light or the darkness. And it's I actually went back and watched Beyond Light, and she says the same sentence as she did in Beyond Light, which is about breaking chains. So in the opening scene of Season of Plunder, she says about breaking chains, which is what she says in Beyond Light, which is all about the Elixir being independent of the light, of the traveler, and you would also assume of darkness, of the pyramid ships, whatever. They're them to be their own people, essentially. and she was forced into like working for the witness. She didn't have a choice in that. Like if you read the lore tab on when the witness freed her from her like stasis prison, it was like, you will do this for me or you will die. And she only agrees to it when she thinks about the Elixir people. So I think that Eramis could be like an enemy of our enemy. I don't think she'll ally with humanity, but I do think she could turn on the witness, which would be cool.
Pretty tasty redemption arc
that would be
coming from
cool.
Eramis.
Yeah. Yep.
That would be cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be.
Because she
super
says to like Mithrax, like in one of the radio calls, I don't want to hurt, I don't want to harm Elixir, but if you're gonna stop me, then like bring it. But I think she has the potential in her character to fight back against the witness, and she has a really cool like motto or what she was known for, which is 2 hands in greeting and 2 hands concealed. So meaning that she's very cunning. So she has 4 arms, 2 hands in like greeting people, and then 2 hands like behind the back. So I'm sort of waiting for Eramis to come back into the story a bit. Hopefully,
Cool.
That'd be great.
Yeah, maybe reclaim these relics for themselves, or not get them over to the witness, or.
Well, we also have next season as well to tie it into Lightfall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be whatever this season ends up. I would imagine that they're going to continue the story in some sense to have it connect with Lightfall, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this season's quite disconnected from it, apart from the witness. So they need to bring that back in somehow. So
Really?
maybe they won't, maybe they will. Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's leading or lending itself into other elements of discovering darkness, like the underlying tones. I'm getting that, which could lend to the Guardians have an understanding to know what to detect, which could then lend to discovering the Strand.
To me, the like underlying story theme kind of reminds me of what Guardians have been going through. Zavala had kind of mentioned it. One of y'all said something about, them learning to. It was something about like doing things without the light, like the Fallen not needing the light anymore and being independent, and that's kind of Eramis's whole thing. But that's kind of the journey that Zavala and the Guardians have been on too, after witnessing everything that happened in Witch Queen, and the Hive sort of saying like, oh, we don't need the darkness, and everybody's all the races, all the factions are kind of becoming more and more independent, and maybe this is just kind of carrying on with that theme, but for the Fallen. And leading into maybe Lightfall, where darkness and light are kind of they're not as existent in the universe, and not the all-defining factors of like good and evil, or even just 2 different factions, but rather it's setting the pieces up for new things on the table, basically.
Well, also the Guardians getting independence. Same thing. Like we're in a way getting more independence away from the Traveler as time goes by, especially with embracing stasis. If we embrace Strand or other darkness elements, it's like even further saying we actually don't need the Traveler. We're our own thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Want to do some Twitter questions?
I guess so. Is there anything else this week? Is Iron Banner?
There's one thing in the TWAB that I wanted to bring up, since we were talking about things that Bungie's kind of given us over time, just more accessibility stuff. And one of the things that they mentioned, because they did the whole Guardians going gold for cancer awareness stuff this month, and there was a part at the end of the TWAB where they said that a lot of the golden shaders that you used to be able to get, but maybe you can't anymore, are now available in Eververse for just Glimmer. It's like 1,000 Glimmer for this pack.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Shaders that have gold in it. So I thought that was really cool.
Oh,
That's
wow.
really cool.
Yeah.
Solid move, Bungie. Nice job.
Yeah, that's really good, because a lot of them are like the callous ones and stuff. Even a lot of them are just really old, super old. If you started playing like even 2 years ago, you don't have those shaders.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I missed that. That's great. Go pick up your gold shaders, everybody. Go get them. Be gold for the month.
Cool.
Fazimoto asks, you were talking about reward structure for contest mode raid difficulty last week. Do you think guaranteed red border weapons would be a good enough reward incentive?
That'll be huge. Might ruin crafting. They might make crafting a bit too easy, but depends what they're talking about. I mean, every encounter guaranteed, or just like an additional one. I think if you got a guaranteed additional red border at Oryx, it'd be fine. So you could get your normal red border chest and then another one.
Yeah, I kind of remember the tenor of the conversation being that we didn't need rewards, but if we didn't get rewards, then people would complain about it, right? It's like,
Yeah.
This is
we just wanted contest mode. You don't have to give us another reward. We just want to have it available. But then, like, we knew that parts of the community would complain that there's no reason to do this because there's no reward.
Could they approach it the way that they do like soloing a dungeon, where sometimes there's a shader or an emblem associated with it, so a lot of the community wants to do the challenge of, I want to do contest mode and feel what it's like, and after weeks accomplishing it, showing off that emblem or that shader. That's what actually got me to do not this dungeon, because doesn't have a shader associated with it, but the last dungeon for the 30th anniversary pack. I only solo flawless that one because I was like, there's this cool shader in it, and I have to have all this stuff that I have to play the fashion game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
for
I guess-
contest mode, I don't think it should drop red borders and stuff like that. I think, if anything, like you said, emblem shaders. But if you need something like an upgrade module, so hey, you did it. Here's some materials, but it's not like the de facto. We have to do it on contest mode, otherwise we're missing out on drops. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, it depends if you want like replayability or if you want people to just have the experience. So it's like, if you want people to jump into contest mode to really challenge themselves, challenge their build, sort of one and done, like maybe your group's on it for a week or whatever, a couple days, you get the emblem, you move on. A bit like solo floor stuff. You don't necessarily go back and repeat it. But if you want people like grinding it, then it almost needs to replace the master version, or it needs to be, that's when you need the loot, right? The loot's the replayability for that kind of stuff. Is if you want people to going back into contest mode and doing it, then you need to put some sort of reward there that you can grind out, whether it's materials or whether it's different versions of weapons or enhanced or whatever.
Chris Benoit says, what common Destiny enemy would you like to see Eris turn into a weapon?
Common Destiny enemy.
Yeah.
An ogre.
Ogre I-beam, yeah.
Yeah, the ogre
Pretty
I-beam
good.
would be pretty nuts.
Randall the Vandal.
It's like we've got a lot of stuff, I think, like the Cabal, but we've got that exotic that shoots the big rockets now. We've got Queen's Breaker bow for anything that's like a sniper related.
Make an exotic, the Cabal shield, like turn it into a glaive, and somehow like do the whole like Cabal shield thing. That would be legit.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Shield wall, that'd be cool.
Simon Kaman says, any advice on recovering from grinding out the Gilded Dredgen seal?
You're too far gone. You shouldn't have done it. There's no hope for you.
There's no hope. That's a good
That's
point.
on you now. You deal with the
Might as well
consequences.
just take up Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite time.
Ivan Karamazov says, Yo,
Yo.
Yo, hello. Hi there.
Play Gambit.
Classic Creeper 69 says, should Destiny 2 have facial hair? Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
After all this time, why not? Brother's lost his place.
Sorry, I got a lot of comments, not a lot of questions here. Ken the Gunslinger says, which light-bearing character do you think deserves to become a Guardian? Ava.
Non-light bearing. So not many of them. Who's the clan? The clan. What's the clan lady? Not Shayura.
Oh, yeah, what's her name?
Not Hawthorne.
Shariah.
Hawthorne's who you're thinking of, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hawthorne.
But
Oh yeah, I meant Holiday. Sure.
what about who's the guy at the church tower that's been there for so long, still sniping dregs?
Oh, yeah. Devron.
Devram.
Yeah, give him
Yeah.
a ghost.
You know who should get a ghost? Eramis. Give her a ghost.
Ooh.
Yeah. She'll do good things with it. I'm sure.
Can we give Kate another ghost?
I want to see Sweeperbot empowered.
Oh,
Sweeperbot with a ghost chopping people
That's
up
the
with a
true
broom.
darkness.
Yeah.
Bottles says, as a kid or even now, what's your favorite Lego set? Lego sets are so fucking cool now. Like
They're so cool
my
and
kids have
so
now
expensive.
aged out of it.
so
They
expensive.
are expensive.
My God.
My kids have aged out of it, and I'm kind of bummed because that was a fun thing to shop for when they were kids, getting them Lego sets.
Well, you got to be a grown ass adult to afford like the $800 Lego sets now. So.
Yeah.
I am at the golden age right now where my kid he's almost 2.5. So he's like just entering the I'm building stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
my wife's like, oh, we'll get him these blocks and this other stuff. I'm like, no, we need Legos. We need the Duplo one. So he's like, and he loves building. That's like, he gets home from daycare and that's like all we do together, like till he has to go to bed is Lego stuff. So
That's
it's
cool.
great. It's fantastic. So anything kid oriented right now is my favorite. Anything has big attachment things he can put together is great.
Nice.
Me and my wife were talking about we're really lucky that our kids grew up when there was still like Toys R Us toy stores, right? But now we're thinking like, where does one get toys? Like, I guess you could go to like Walmart or Target or like a department store, but that's not the same thing as going to like a toy store.
Yeah.
True.
You guys
Like,
don't have toy stores
what do
there
you do?
anymore?
They've closed
Not
up.
really. Yeah.
Gone out of
Really?
business. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's still a toy section in Walmart and Target and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same walking through
definitely
like
not the
home
same.
appliances to get to your toys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the selection's not like huge. Toys R Us was like a department store just for toys.
Yeah.
That is sad. Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, they had an entire aisle dedicated to Super Nintendo, Nintendo Genesis games where you walk up,
Yeah.
you grab the sticker,
God,
you
I
had
love
Yeah.
doing
you had a
that.
cover and like a little behind the thing to flip over to decide that you wanted your mom or dad to spend $60 on this game for you. You grab the thing.
Right.
And
I loved it.
Oh, it was like a
You can
huge
go-
event going there when you were a kid.
yeah.
You can go to the Lego store. The Lego store is pretty cool, although a lot of them are kind of small.
Yeah.
The
But
stores.
the actual Lego store is very cool.
Like, so I was wondering, like, maybe kids don't watch TV anymore. So, like, the marketing for toys
YouTube.
doesn't come so much through TV as it does through like YouTube, and like
Yeah.
they're selling stuff off of Amazon because they get a commission.
Yep.
So maybe like all of the toys are being sold on Amazon now.
Well, also when you
Yeah,
were a
but-
kid, you would get like, so if you bought a Lego set, you would get a pamphlet of the current Legos that were available also. And I remember
Yes.
so like my favorite Lego sets, I had the pirate ships. Like there was two of them. There was a small one and the big one, pirate ship. And
Yeah.
those were definitely my favorite Lego sets out of all of them that I had. But
I'm so old that
they-
they didn't have Lego sets. They just had a fucking bucket of Legos.
Dude, the sets were legit, man.
Yeah,
So
they're cool as hell.
So you get a pamphlet of stuff that they're selling, and it's like that is now, kids are aware to go and search for the materials that they want to look at to whether it's
Yeah.
YouTube or the website that's telling them what's available to buy. So like
Yeah.
you have market research built in to your your buying experience.
The only
We
way
had a
you
Toys
knew
R Us.
about new toys when I was a kid was commercials on TV.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was like the
Or,
golden
like, a
age
kid
of
showed up with one.
cartoons where it was like they made the action figure based on the cartoon, and that was like the sell loop was like you
Yeah.
watch the cartoon and then
Teenage
you went
Mutant
and
Ninja
bought
Turtles, He-Man, G.I. Joe.
that. Yeah,
True.
you went
Yeah.
and bought the action figure or whatever from it, and it was like
Oh, the
that
worst
was the
one was
advertising.
Captain Power, where you'd watch the TV show and it was an interactive TV show. You had to have like the ship was like one of those like light guns, and you had to like shoot the stuff on the screen during the live TV show on Saturday mornings, and it would shoot back, and like you'd get your like ship would blow up. They banned that one. Congress banned it. They said it was no, this is too far.
Man,
These
how do we
fuckers
go
have gone
back
too
in
far.
time when it comes to this stuff? That sounds great. We've gone
Yeah,
backwards.
there was a Toys R Us near us that closed down, but then it just got replaced by like a private toys place. So it was still just
Yeah.
a giant warehouse of toys, and we took our nieces there for like their birthday. It was like pick a toy, and it was a lot of fun, just like running around
It's
and
awesome.
That is
looking
cool.
at all the different sections of what to buy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah, I'm actually really disgruntled over Toys R Us being shut down because not because I wanted to go in there, but it's connected to like Costco. Okay, this whole parking lot situation, and the construction team decided to cut off all the parking that's connected to this to like do their renovation, and it's been a year of them renovating Toys R Us building for whatever super ultra market that's going to go there next to the Costco. And
Yeah.
ruining the pathing to get to Costco, so you have to take a terrible way to get to there. It's just pissed me off, man. Every time I pull up there, I'm like, "You're still? Get the just." Anyways,
What's taking them so long? Around here, they put up these fucking box stores in like a month, like
Ah,
start
man.
to finish.
it's been a
unbelievable.
year, and they've just been like taking up all the parking there.
Hi, I'm Guko says, question for Lego. There's so many fusions in this game. What frame and roles should I be looking for in PvE?
And
PvE.
PvE is very specific. It's funny because I don't do a ton of PvE, but I know that anything that outputs damage faster, pretty much for fusions, is kind of the way to go for DPS. So rapid fires. Some people in the comments of that actually mentioned chill clip, high impact reserves. All those kind of perks are the ones that you want to go for the rapid fire ones. I really think rapid fires are still super good. Everyone got into them because of particle repeater or whatever that perk was that season that
Yeah.
just amped your damage up. But they're still good even without that. For PvE though, if you want something, this is a build that I kind of want to do. High impacts are really good with backup plan. They like still retain a lot of the damage, even though backup plan sucks on a lot of other fusion rifles. And so I kind of want to get one of the King's Fall fusions with backup plan and like reservoir burst. So I just whip it out, explode everything, put it back in, have a fusion rifle holster mod on so it just reloads. Then I whip out backup plan, again, explosion, and just keep that loop going. Sounds really
Love
fun
it.
to me.
That does sound fun.
Yeah,
Mm.
I still rock
Nice.
the null composure because of the
Yeah.
void stuff. Because I do like my void builds. I like the devour stuff, and it's just nice.
It's good.
Chill clip has been like a game changer for me. I used to always just delete everything with chill clip, and now I'm a pretty big fan of chill clip.
Mhm.
Just the way that raids and dungeons can be now, like the duality dungeon, chill clip is absolutely fantastic for the nightmares because it freezes them and slows them down. It really speeds up your time running through the corridors, stuff like that. It's really good for ad control. Works well in King's Fall as well. Like when you're getting absolutely swarmed and you start using it on the night and you freeze everything around you. Like it's pretty nice.
That's what I was going to say. I saw a lot of people doing the day one stuff with chill clip on the nights. It was really good.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a question before we move on. With Duality Dungeon, what do you guys recommend for soloing Duality Dungeon in this season? Like what build or what subclass generally would you go to right now?
If you're a hunter, I would probably put on Assassin's Cowl and Solar 3.0, and you'd get through that pretty quick. Just
like-
using a melee build, because every time you throw your knives, you're going to go invis, get your health bump. So it's pretty much like having, what's it called? What was the artifact last?
The
Class-
reason-
it's like having-
yeah.
It's like having Class Restoration again. Solar 3.0 build with Assassin's Cowl for hunters, really good survivability, and you got Blade Barrage for your DPS. Stormcaller is still really good. I still like Stormcaller. I still use Stormcaller on Keitel, but linears are going to still do really well. And I chop up Galran with the sword. Lament.
I hate how many times I have to go through that to solo it. Like I wish it was 3 times. But it's not down to 3 times for me.
Yeah. Are you doing the Scion glitch?
Yeah, even with the Scion glitch, it's like I feel like I'm at the edge and I still have to do like 4 or whatever.
Have you got Lucent Blade on and all that kind of stuff for your Lament?
I believe so.
That will really bump up your DPS.
Yeah.
Also, if you can run wells that give you the extra damage boost on your same weapon type as your
Yeah.
subclass, that
Mm.
increases the damage a ton. That was the only way whenever I was grinding for that Epicurean, just doing that over and over again. We just started
Fontamite.
using the wells plus Fontamite plus Lucent Blade, all that stacked together, just really helped up our damage a lot.
Okay, I need to try that because I don't think I'm doing that. Yeah.
I need to look into Fontamite and get better at it. But you only get, is it 15 seconds after picking up a well of the same element?
Unless
Or is it
you
10
use,
seconds?
there's a stasis mod called Elemental Time
Oh,
Dilation.
time dilation, yeah.
That one's so good, so good.
What can you bump it up to? 20 seconds or something?
Yeah, it feels like I run it a lot if I'm just doing normal content, not damage. I'll run it on the regen, the solar regen mod when you pick up wells, and it just feels like I can't die. I mean, you can't die anyway if you're running a Titan with Lorelei or something, but just any other class, it helps a lot.
Cool.
Right.
Mylan, I'm curious, are you sad or excited that like Hammer Titan hammer throws are not just the default now that they've been nerfed a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm not playing, I haven't played Titan this season yet, but obviously it was the go-to for nearly all solo flawless stuff.
Okay.
I think Titan's really fun, but then you realize, like, I don't know, I was getting sick of just throwing the hammer, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Like, it's, if you want to do hard stuff, you're gonna get like sweaty. Like, yeah, all right, go Titan. Like, even like the raid day one contest, you can just like sit at the door and just literally bonk anything that goes through it and not die. But also it's nice to be forced to use something else, I think.
Yeah, I feel a little bit like I'm free now because I could. It was pretty easy to solo Galron like one phase with just the hammer bonks for a little bit, and then they're like,
Yeah.
that's too much. Let's tone it down."
Yeah.
Hollowpoint 503 says, "What does it mean to Lego my Eggo? What's he doing to my Eggo? I need to know once and for all."
I want to hear Mylan's answer. He was gonna go first.
Yeah,
I'm not
Mylan, go
saying-
for it.
I'm not saying shit. I don't know what's going on.
Spoilers. All right.
First of all, I will do nothing to your Eggo. I feel like it just means it's my Eggo. And that's
What's the phrase
right.
again?
It's my
Lego
Eggo.
my Eggo.
I'm not gonna touch your
Lego my Eggo.
Eggo.
Have you not
Lego
heard of
your
that
Eggo.
before?
Lego my Eggo.
No, I have. I just
No, Mylan.
I
Actually,
think it means
because
that
I'm wondering.
Lego's gonna come and spread his fusion sauce all over your Eggo.
Yeah.
Ah,
Got
Lego
the
my Eggo.
I'm gonna start saying that when I boop someone now. Lego to your Eggo.
Do you have Eggo waffles down in Australia land?
No.
Okay,
No.
see.
You have waffles?
Yeah, you got waffles down there?
Yes, but what we do have waffles, but they're not as common as in America. Like if you have a breakfast bar or whatever at a hotel, you're not guaranteed to get waffles there. But in America, right, there'll be waffles there if you have like at a hotel, right? It'd be like
No.
a waffle maker or something.
Absolutely not.
Really?
You are lucky. You are lucky, or you're staying at nicer hotels than I do. If you were
Well, no,
guaranteed,
paid by Bungie, so maybe that was why.
yeah, if you're guaranteed waffles at your continental breakfast,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
usually
You're
just
doing okay.
cereal and a
Living the
bagel.
good life.
do okay.
Okay, great. All right, that's a fancy thing then.
But the term Lego my Eggo, it's like a marketing thing from Eggo waffles. So most like if you grew up watching cartoons, you definitely are used to the Lego my Eggo, type of thing.
Well, what's
but-
the Lego part of it?
It's just
Somebody's stealing your Eggo, so you're telling them to let go of it
yeah, it's blending.
really?
Lego my
Yeah.
Eggo.
because you put them in a toaster to cook them. They're like toaster waffles,
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
and then they pop up and somebody swipes it while it's midair.
Oh, I thought it was
You
some
say,
sort of
"Lego my
topping or
Eggo."
something. Thought it was like asking someone like, you got your Eggo on the plate, Lego my Eggo, please, and they'll put like some chocolate sauce or something on there.
Little vape juice. Voop
Lego
juice.
mi Eggo.
Your Resolute says, any new sleeper pairings for Glaives or fusions with Arc 3.0?
Mm.
It's tough because Well, Gerfalcons, first of all, that's not really arc, but it changes the archetypes of it makes like the deficits of all the archetypes non-existent, so you can use stuff that you couldn't really use before. But Arc 3.0, it's tough because there's, as I mentioned earlier, there's no buff stacking for Arc, but there is that some cool stuff you can do with the feedback, not the feedback fragment, but the one, feedback fragment where your melee's increased. I was thinking about how you could use a glaive to like bait people into punching you so that you could activate that and then make a build with it. Because glaives, once you get some shield energy, you can just like, hey, come at me, you know? But with skill-based matchmaking, I tried to do it for like 2 games and no one would fall for it. So I don't know. But I feel like there's some potential there with a lot of people are trying to get Liar's Handshake. What's the hunter exotic that lets your melee go nuts? I think it's Liar's Handshake.
Yeah, Liar's Handshake. Yep.
Using that to like bait somebody in a glaive, and then it procs while you have the glaive, but then swapping off the glaive to get the melee kill and then going crazy with Liar's Handshake, something like that. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. I was hoping that Arc 3.0 would bring some damage stuff so that Nezarec Sin, which is an Arc glaive, you could use Adrenaline Junkie to do something crazy, and maybe there's potential there with like the Titan Storm Grenade or the Skip Grenades that Mylan was talking about using to proc Adrenaline Junkie, which is that 33% buff. The problem is that you still need more than that to one-shot consistently with a glaive. I'm not even sure by itself you could one-shot. You'd need like a rift or some other damage boosting source to really make it worth it. So it's tough to say. I don't think there's really that much sleeper stuff other than really fast fusion rifle stuff like backup plan on high impact or just rapid fire fusions in general.
A lot of chat saying Arc Buddy with glaives. That does sound scary.
That is very
like
good.
Blocking, and then you Arc Buddy's just like
Going to town.
just ticking
Until
away.
you meet another glaive with a shield doing the same thing.
It is tough because that has always been around, so I kind of like discounted in my mind as like a new thing, but it does exist. You can definitely Arc Buddies have always been really good with glaives.
Did Arc change anything to do with Arc Buddy? Did Arc 3.0 change anything to do with the
They can
Arc
be
Buddy?
stronger when you're amplified
you
and
can
stuff.
amp up.
Amplified.
Shoot
Does it
faster.
shoot quicker? Does it?
Yeah.
Yes, and it hits stronger. And also with
Okay.
this is the most interesting thing to me is the Warlock exotic that gives you the enhanced Arc Buddy Getaway Artist, is it? If you use those exotics, that I think it's the only thing in the game, someone correct me in chat or somewhere if I'm wrong, but I think it's the only exotic that can just proc your amplified status immediately without any of that other. You normally have to do something to get amped. Here you can just get an Arc Buddy and you're amped from that moment on, which seems
Getaway Artist.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, they changed it. It's in the description
Wait,
now. Like,
what?
yeah,
Wow.
Wait, so you just eat a grenade, get an
Yeah.
Arc Buddy, and you're amped as well.
yeah,
So it's an amped Getaway Artist Arc Buddy.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, it
Right.
says convert your arc grenade into an arc soul and become amplified. So there you go. Just automatically amplified.
Dude,
I
that's pretty good.
Really good. It reminds me of you could just there was other ways where you could like just activate like Radiant on a hunter where you could dodge. This is like Warlock's version of this. You just have to have an exotic for it, but it's still really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like that would go well with a glaive,
Mm-hmm.
a glaive build. Once you got your shield up, you just eat your grenade and then just like run around with your shield. I don't know.
Have you? So I was running at people with a glaive while amped with the speed boost, and that is terrifying. If you ever have a glaive running at you while amped,
right.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can go real quick too. People don't know what to do when you got that much speed because all your targeting's so different when you can like slide that far, you can jump higher, you're just like floating, you can get different angles. It's really fun. Speed boost.
Bright Lord Master High Marshal Stormface says, question for the whole crew, what's your favorite fruit and what's an unlikely pairing you love eating with it? Favorite fruit?
I think watermelon's probably my favorite fruit. You can
That's a
always go for
solid
some
choice.
good watermelon. I
That
just
is
eat
good.
it
That's good.
with watermelons. I don't do anything fancy with watermelon. I know some people they put like salt on it because it enhances the sweetness.
Oh, that's
Oh,
weird.
really?
But we used to
Oh, that's weird.
drill a
Oh,
hole
that's
in
weird.
it.
Anyway.
We used to drill a hole in it and put a vodka bottle in the hole, so
Yeah.
the vodka would drain into the watermelon, and then when you cut up the
Mm.
watermelon, it's all alcohol infused watermelon. Oh, it's so good.
Hmm.
That is good. Just
the
don't
only-
cut open the watermelon and like get close to it with your face immediately. I feel like I had a friend who did this who was like immediately intoxicated just by like they were like joking around and put the watermelon like on their head.
Oh, like the
Oh.
vapor?
Yeah, like it just like
No
messed
good.
them up immediately. They were like, "Oh, I don't feel right."
Wow.
Wow.
Gee.
Holy crap.
Call me crazy. But maybe the guy who put the watermelon on his head was already a little bit drunk.
Or
Good point.
onto something. Make watermelon
Mhm.
vodka hats for your next party.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. I think the only
My favorite
fancy
fruit
thing
is
I do
bananas.
with fruit.
But I can't think of any weird things I do with it.
If we don't have like any dessert in the house, which is often, and we like want to have something nice, Danny will just like whip some cream up with, and have like sliced apple whipped cream with like honey and like cashews or something like that. That's like
Yeah.
a nice
That's good.
little
Mm.
dessert.
Yeah, we do that with apples and peanut butter. We'll just have that as like a snack.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think this is weird, but I mean, I like a lot of fruit. Like most fruits, I enjoy.
Except
But-
for fucking blueberries. God damn little
I like
fuckers.
blueberries. Delicious,
love
especially in
blueberries.
smoothies.
Oh, you don't like blueberries?
Smoothies
I'm
and
just kidding.
blueberries? Come on.
I love
I wouldn't be
blueberries.
surprised
Blueberries
after
and smoothies.
hearing about Briar
That's
hating all
Yeah,
things
you'd
that
be
bring
like,
joy.
French fries suck. I hate them. Like, come on. He's like, I actually haven't had a French fry in 20 years, but they still suck. Anyways, with bananas, cut them in half the long way. Spread peanut butter on one end or on one side and some chocolate on the other. Sandwich it back together. Wrap it in some foil. Freeze it. Come back to a
Oh.
delicious treat.
That does sound
Mm.
delicious.
That actually kind of sounds good.
It is
Yeah.
good.
What kind of
Really
chocolate
good.
do you use?
Whatever's available.
Wait,
Yeah.
chocolate or like chocolate spread?
Again, you know, if you got Nutella, use Nutella. If you got, if you need to melt some squares, some dark chocolate squares, melt them. Do it. Do what you got to do to get your banana
what?
sandwich on.
That sounds like fuel for a like day one raid. like do
Put
something.
a bunch
some
of them in the freezer.
Yeah, and then
Freeze-
just chop them up.
freeze
and
them
then,
on
like,
bananas.
Yeah.
Bite
That
size
does sound
banana
good.
chocolate
Now
bites?
that's meal prep I can get behind.
Yeah, actually,
right?
you know what? I did
Think of the
not consider
potassium.
this. I didn't consider this,
So
but you're
high.
right. If you make it and then you chop it into like say 6 equal bites and then freeze those, wow. Yeah.
power snack.
Yeah, that's even
Oh,
better.
that'd be delicious.
The only problem with that is if you're raiding, you know those are just going to be sitting there melting. Like you're going to be on that encounter so long.
And when it's a bio break, you go down, you grab the out of the freezer, grab one, bring it up. little snack time.
Yep.
You gotta bring a cooler.
There it is.
Cooler.
Yeah.
You bring a cooler. Yeah.
Cooler, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Or you bring your fridge upstairs or wherever you're at. You move your fridge directly next to you while you're streaming.
Yeah. I don't
Or
think I
playing.
have any weird combos. I think I just have like my favorite would probably be blackberries, but like the ones that are like they're growing like on a hike and you just like see them growing and you're like, "Oh, let's just eat this blackberry." Like that's
Yeah.
just the
They're always,
best.
like, big fuckers. too.
Yeah.
Mm.
But weird combos would be I really like I think it's just because like my grandma made it when I was growing up, but like cherries and pineapple in cottage cheese was always like super good. I feel like people do that.
My
but,
mother used to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good.
That's good.
Nice.
Cottage cheese doesn't get a lot of love anymore. I never see cottage cheese anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No.
If you go to sushi places these days, there's a lot of sushi places that have like cottage cheese sushi
Yeah?
rolls. Yeah.
Interesting.
Weird.
Newt says, which Disney princess are you?
Is there one that screams a lot?
Hmm,
Mm.
probably.
Hmm.
Depends on website on you, I guess.
Can I pick Moana? Is that fair? That's like
Yeah.
we've been trying to introduce our kid to movies, and that one's so good. It's like legitimately like my wife doesn't like animated stuff, and we're both like sucked into it. Every time a new song comes on, we're like, yeah, this is it.
Pocahontas, definitely like kind of cool, but not PC.
No, you can't be Pocahontas.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know enough Disney princess. Maybe ask me in a couple of years' time.
Mylan is the crab in Little Mermaid.
Under the sea. Sebastian.
True.
Sebastian. Yeah.
Mm.
The adjuster says, no questions, just advice. Oh, are you giving us advice? Remember that Destiny is just a game. Don't make it your life. There are more important things to life than video games /
it's a little
addiction.
Yeah.
Just found out my dad has stage 4 pancreatic cancer, but the game's down and call your dad, moms, and kids. Life is short. Sorry to hear about your father.
Sorry to
That's
hear
awful.
that.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, put the gold shaders on.
Put the gold shaders on. Yeah.
Stuff.
Novacourt says, do you think that Bungie should make a standalone version of Destiny 2 where you can only play year 1 and year 2 content? No.
No.
Nah.
The charm of it back then was that lots of people were into discovering what was going on, and it wasn't really like going through that first story of Destiny 1.
Yeah.
That was all nebulous and a bunch of
Do
nameless
people
stuff.
not remember how D1 ended with the Exo Stranger just giving you a gun and
Piece
piecing
it
out
out?
and being like,
You're like you
Yeah.
killed the darkness, the blob. Good job. And there's things.
Yeah, the final boss was literally the Black Heart, which was a blob of darkness.
Yeah, I think people remember Destiny in quite a different way to what it actually was. Like, we didn't keep playing because the story was so great or, you know, there's so much to do.
Yeah,
We kept playing because it felt good.
Or Rahul
Yeah,
always
and
gave you a blue weapon instead of a legendary when you decrypted your legendary engram that you were so excited about.
That prick.
And it was and still is like what the only real loot and shooter first person MMO light game that you can do raids and dungeons. Like there's just
Until
nothing else
Anthem
out
killed
there.
it.
Yeah, I mean Anthem came in and gave them a big run for their money for a whole week.
John Zombie says, if you had to wear one pair of socks for the rest of your life, what pair would you choose?
Comfortable pair?
The fluffy
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah.
Oof, I don't know, man. They're gonna get pretty unfluffy.
Okay, when I hear
I'll
something
go with,
about
like-
the rest of my life, I'm assuming that
Yeah.
these are some mythical socks that do not
Yes.
break down. Because
Yeah.
how could you wear them for the rest of your life?
Such
if-
socks don't exist.
Well, you're gonna wear this one pair for the rest of your life.
Well, that one pair will not exist after you wear it for so long.
Yeah,
It'll just be
exactly.
like
So it
strapped
has
between
to
your
be.
toes.
It has to be a mythical pair of socks that apparently don't degrade ever and are forever fluffy and nice feeling. So
Oh.
I'm gonna pick those.
Yeah.
I feel like logically you got like I can't wear tube socks because they would just be ridiculous and tied on your legs the whole time. But you can't wear the no-show socks, even though that would look cool. It's like kind of annoying on your feet the whole time because they have
Cold
to
in
be
the winter.
tighter. So you got to go like in between,
are out of the
like
question.
Medium fluffy socks.
yeah,
Yeah.
medium just above the ankle, something
Just
like
above
that.
the ankle. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
just above the ankle.
maybe an inch above.
Crocs approved socks, right?
Yeah.
Something that like wicks away moisture, but is also thick enough to have some padding and some warmth.
What about those socks with the little rubber bits
No,
on the bottom
fuck
so you
those
don't
things.
don't slip?
Rubber socks.
But you're just wearing socks, and you can wear them around the house. You don't not slip on the tiles. and stuff like that.
And they never degrade, right? Because they're magical, so
Yeah.
you could wear them like
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah.
Mm,
Mythical.
shoe socks.
That's true. That's
What
That would be
was the-
nice on an airplane.
What was the
in the
Final
airport?
Fantasy thing? The Myth Straight or whatever the. Anyways, the socks are made out of some Final Fantasy material. Mithril socks.
Patch Echo says, so are the horses on the pyramid ship supposed to be the star horse or what?
Fine, what's
No,
the law
actually.
on the horse?
I know the law.
Yeah,
on
the
horse.
6 ass.
No
What's
idea.
up with the horse? Why, out of all animals, was he like, I want a horse with lots
I
of
don't know.
bolts?
I don't know.
You better tie
I
this
don't
into
know.
the story. otherwise
Maybe
we'll be
I don't
very-
know. Horses like related to conquest. You know, like armies, horses, chariots,
Trojan
leaders.
horse.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like 6 of them all superimposed into each other. It's
That's
like
about.
Maybe that's the
some
like
time-space continuum stuff, you know?
6 asses of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
So the witness is going to get
Yeah,
6
true.
disciples and put them on the horse butts
Wait, isn't there
right
12?
into battle.
Isn't there 12 total though? Because you have the 6 light and 6 dark.
And 12 disciples
12
Put it
asses of the
on-
apocalypse.
the horse.
There's
Yeah.
2 cheeks on each ass, so there's the 12
Right.
cheeks of the apocalypse.
Depending on how
Mhm.
you're feeling.
Those cheeks are ready to clap. They're coming in strong.
The Mohegan 9 says you can jump 1% higher, but you have to consume 1 small jar of Vegemite in an hour. The ability is stackable.
It's a stack.
Ah.
Wait, permanent like effect?
It's- we did 1 teaspoon of Vegemite and almost died.
I don't
I don't
think
know
you
if
could.
we're gonna-
I don't think you
True.
could eat a jar in an hour
No,
and feel good.
Yeah,
No.
survive.
No.
You're not
Yeah,
gonna
I
wanna
don't-
be
I don't
jumping around
believe that
after that.
1%
Your kidneys are going to be like
added to
destroyed.
3 inches is really that big a difference.
I mean, how much sodium is that in a jar? Because that actually
That's
could kill you
nuts.
if it's enough
Yeah.
sodium.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it probably would. You could have a heart attack or something.
What are you trying to do to us, Mohegan?
You would have to have a 20% increase in jump or something like that. for
Yeah,
it
it's got to be really
anyway.
worth it.
Much bigger than 1%.
Yeah,
Well, you said it's stackable.
yeah, if you eat more Vegemite.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you
you have
can't
like
stack
4
if you're
jars of
dead.
Vegemite to have 4% increase of your 6-foot vertical or your 6-inch vertical.
And the assumption here is that you would want to jump higher. I'm okay with where I'm at.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what
Yeah.
it takes.
Do I
Doesn't
need to
come up
jump
that
higher?
often, honestly.
Yeah.
Also, the 1%, like you'd have to get like 20 jars of Vegemite to really start feeling the effect, you know? Because like 1 to
In an hour.
5%, yeah, gonna be.
But here's
gonna be
the
a lot.
thing: if you could jump higher, like, it doesn't say that your bones are strong. So you just jump higher, then land and break your legs. Whee! Gonk.
Yeah.
Ankle's
Yeah.
broken.
Good point.
Dead.
Good point. How much Vegemite do you eat to not break your legs?
Yeah.
Zachary Richin says, to follow up the question for 2 weeks ago, this is a follow-up. We
Oh.
asked for follow-up.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
About who would win in a fight between the Predator and Kevin from Home Alone. You guys remember that one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep,
And
I
I
remember.
said if it was directed by Christopher Columbus, then Kevin would win.
Right. Well, he has replied, the director is Matt Damon, and the composer is John Williams. What has
Okay.
Matt Damon... I didn't even know Matt Damon was a director, honestly.
Of course.
What movies has Matt Damon directed?
Recently?
Ever.
Didn't he do one of the space one of the recent space ones? I can't remember which one, like one that he acted in. I don't know.
Don't know.
Oh, you
I had
mean
to Google
the Martian?
Yeah.
I
didn't he
wanted
have
to
something
see
to do with
Martian, actually. Yeah. Yeah, apparently.
Oh, he
it
directed
says
that? That was a great movie.
starring. It
I
says
could be totally wrong.
starring, though, so it's hard to.
Oh.
It's hard to
Let's
know
see.
if the list that I'm looking at is directed or starring in, or
Mhm.
both.
It doesn't say he's directed anything. He's
Yeah.
produced
Yeah,
stuff.
His IMDb has a big fucking goose egg under director.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. His first directing gig is the Predator versus the Home
Yeah,
Alone
this is his
Kid.
first gig.
Yeah. it's
Now,
the
does
first
he
gig.
go crazy? Does he go big? And he's like, clearly the Home Alone Kid's gonna pull off.
Gotta
some
go big.
stuff.
Predator is gonna tear Kevin apart in like a 30-minute like dissection scene.
No. Here's the thing. John Williams has John Williams scored a popular horror film?
That's what I was thinking.
Interesting.
I don't think so.
know.
Mm.
It's
true.
always some heroic movie. So Kevin
And Matt
is
Damon
clearly
is
the hero.
anti-violence, right?
Heroic would be Kevin coming back for sure. Fighting off the
right.
predator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. And Matt Damon is anti-violence. He doesn't
Yeah.
like violent stuff.
So maybe it's a theme about Kevin constructing some sort of way to actually communicate with the predator and actually becomes friends with the predator, has some deep discussions about family and why the predator is so violent, and then it's a turnaround.
Because it's adult Kevin, right? It's
adult
current Kevin.
It's current Kevin, yeah.
And like he's working through some shit, abandonment issues from his family. The predator's working through some shit. He doesn't really like killing people, and he doesn't like hot weather that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Jaws. I forgot about Jaws. That is kind of, well, it's sort of, it's more thriller.
Yeah. It's
John
more
Williams.
thriller.
John Williams scored
I'd say-
Jaws
I'd say
and
more
also
thriller.
Jurassic Park, but I think both of those
But Matt
fall
Damon doesn't like violence. So
true. Like
Heroic
horror
movie.
films mean you might see someone's guts get spilled out. And
Yeah. I think it's gonna be like some Cannes Film Festival shit, like where they just talk. They just really
they talk it
their
out.
feelings.
just
Yeah.
talking.
Predator
It's gonna win a
accidentally
bunch
gets
of awards,
stoned.
and nobody's gonna go see it.
Predator accidentally gets stoned from the cookies that Kevin puts out that he made with weed infused butter, and then they have a big old discussion. And it turns out Predator is pretty cool.
Turns out everybody knows Predator's cool.
It could be a dick. You don't know.
Hero79 says all of the museums in the world have gathered together and have agreed for you to take one item to keep for your very own. What do you take and what do you do with it when you get it home?
From a museum that's famous?
Yeah, any museum. One
Any
thing.
museum. One thing.
I'm going
I'd probably
directly
go
to the
to one of
Vatican.
those,
Is
like-
the Vatican included in this?
Vatican's
It's not
not
a
a museum.
That's close enough.
You ain't raiding the Pope's house.
There's a bunch of old shit there.
I know the answer. You take the most expensive painting you can find, and then you sell
Uh-huh.
it when you get home.
Yeah,
and then
that
you
is
have
what I
big
was
bucks
thinking.
Forever.
Yeah, that's
There it
the
is.
way.
What else am I gonna do? Like get a mummy and
That's-
like lick it or something? What am I
Right.
doing?
So you're gonna take.
I'm just gonna take pics with David's dick.
You're gonna steal David?
It'll be a Briar's daily dick. Will be the blog post and just be Briar with post.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Take pics with David.
Yeah.
Here we go. If you
Michelangelo's
steal,
David.
if you steal the Mona Lisa, it's believed to be worth more than $850 million. So
Wow.
That's a good chunk of change.
It's not technically stealing. They're giving it to you.
Yeah.
So you
And then you
can
sell it.
sell it.
Of course you
all
can
right.
sell
Back to the
See,
museum.
Did
Wasn't
you
the
see
Mona Lisa
this-
stolen once before?
Don't know.
Dunno.
I
You
think
think
so.
of
like
movies.
National
mix-
Treasure
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, right.
Did you say they're selling a dinosaur skeleton in some museum? It's only like 700,000 or something for a
That's
The
it.
dino
logistics of that too is like so.
Jeez.
Those are rocks. Those are heavy
Yeah.
rocks.
Are you gonna
gotta
put that
carry.
big bone?
The painting is light. It's just a wooden frame and some linen.
skeleton. Imagine having middle of your like gaming room just a big velociraptor. Like with like some keyboards hanging over it, a mouse, maybe like
Actually, it
Just
wouldn't be
wrap-
bad to do like one podcast with the Mona Lisa hanging here.
Be worth it, right?
Oh,
Just one.
I was thinking Briar was onto something with the pictures and like you can make a whole Instagram, TikTok brand off of this one
Right,
thing
right.
that you do. Just become super popular, monetize it.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
get little hats to put on David's dingus.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hat of
You
the
do
day.
like little those little garden gnome hats.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
You invite famous people over to take pictures of your David Dick.
Yeah. Dick pic.
All right, that's it. We have once again solved all of your
We did it.
answered all your questions about the Destiny universe.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Lego, thank you so much for joining.
Nice.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's been overdue.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much, seriously, for coming on. I've been listening to you guys forever. And then just to like
Sorry.
be able to be invited on here and with the way that guests can be and just this being the podcast that it is, I just appreciate it. I appreciate all of y'all and what y'all do for the Destiny community. So it's really cool to come here and just talk with Week of Destiny with y'all.
Awesome. Thanks,
Oh,
man.
thank you.
for
Yeah, thank
coming
you
on,
so much
man.
for coming on. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, thanks for
Got
sharing your
some
I'll be
insights.
giving you a
Fusions again.
call for PvP fusion rifle tips.
Yes. If y'all ever need a trial sub, just let me know.
Let's
So,
do it.
you
Yeah,
carry, hard
that'd be
carry.
Oh,
Huge
okay.
backpack needed.
You've got
Extra
the
large.
boys back interested in playing trials.
Yeah, I got to get that
Yep.
fusion rifle, a kinetic version.
Yeah.
Mhm. Where can people find your content?
Yeah,
Where are you dropping
you can
it,
find
man?
me on mainly Twitter, YouTube, started TikTok a little while ago. On everything, it's Legoleflash. And yeah, I would love to hear from y'all, ask questions about any builds. And I was thinking, which y'all can think about it in chat too. But I had somebody comment recently on a YouTube that was like, these intros are so cool. I would love it if you made a vid on like a montage that's just the worst weapon in the game, but make it look really fun. So chat, anybody listening, hit me up at Lego LE Flash. I'm going to make at least some sort of mini montage of just like one of the worst weapons in the game, but I need advice on what y'all think that
Yeah,
is,
what's the
because I
worst
think it could be
weapon?
really cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's a good question.
Nice. Awesome. Well, definitely go go sub to Lego. Awesome content.
Yes.
And thanks again for joining. We really appreciate it.
Thank
Shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs as well for keeping the shows going. We appreciate you guys. There was also a firing range last night, and that's going to go on the feed in a day or so as well. So look out for that stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.